But glad you're all here. Glad to be here also. We missed last week, so happy to be jumping back into it. We've got a little bit of change of cast. We'll talk about all of that. And speaking of the cast, let us gaze upon their lovely faces and vacant stares. Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Hi, Dan.
That's quite the vacant stare there, Kay.
Thank you. I'm well versed in vacant stares.
I want everyone to get in the chat and argue about who they think was held up by Biden and why.
Yeah. So we'll be taking
who has just had a cabinet seat given to them.
A look at Adrian's face. It's Adrian. You look like presidential material, Adrian.
Right. Yeah, that's me.
What's that t-shirt you're wearing, Adrian? Shilling for big superior.
Some swag.
Swag, that's right. Thank you so much for being here. We missed last week for various reasons. We're back into it. We're going to dive right into it. But before we dive into it, let's see who's doing the diving. And we will begin by asking Olo to say hi to us. Say hi, Olo.
Hi, Olo. My name is Olo. I'm the creative director over at Escape Plan Games. Last week, Miko pointed out to me that I was saying the name of my own website wrong, which tells you what kind of a day I'd had in the lead up to that game. It is www.eplangames.com, not Escape Plan Games. You can find us at eplan on eplan games. God, I'm doing it again, on Twitter and Instagram as well. And you can find me at JackBNimble42 on Twitter and Instagram. Very excited to see.
And who are you playing for us tonight?
And today I am playing Amloth, the Wildren Bard, who has had it up to here with nature not being what it should be up to now. He just wants a tree that isn't on fire.
Or trying to kill you.
Or trying to kill you.
You know, trees, they can be uppity at times. Thank you so much for being here, Olo. We appreciate you, even if you probably sent your fans and the people here to some sort of weird website last time.
Oh God, I should probably Google where I sent them.
While you Google that, the man who's running for president, Adrian.
If only.
If only.
Hi, my name is Adrian. You could find me on Twitter at Sly Sparrow and on Twitch and on Discord. I am an actor, producer, storyteller, game player, and I would love to have conversations and play with you also. If you're interested in having a chat, look me up and let's have some fun. Tonight, I am playing Idolo Jambi, who is a kind of a guru Zen master mentalist who is trying to figure out the mystery of these monoliths. There is one in his homeland that has been dormant, and he seeks answers by finding the other ones to see if the one in his own land is actually posing some sort of secret danger, and if there's any kind of way he can assist the neighboring lands in what these are, and getting in lots of adventures along the way. So looking forward to see where the adventure goes tonight.
Is he using his little flying saucer to get around in the model?
Yes, he does. He rarely walks. He kind of floats around in his little cylinder, little basket thing that kind of basically levitates above the ground. But he's always kind of not aloof, but he's always kind of like looking right at you and smiling all the time in a non-creepy way.
Sure. Speaking of not creepy, thank you so much, Adrian, for being here. Speaking of non-creepy, we have a new cast member joining us, my good friend Kay, who will be replacing our good friend Scoos, who unfortunately had some scheduling issues come up. But Kay, thank you so much for stepping in, picking up the flambeau as it is, and tell us a little bit about yourself. And don't tell us about your character just yet, though.
Okay. Easy enough. My name is Kay, or you can find me at Caden Cosmos on most of the social medias at this point. I do a lot of art, from digital art to RPG stuff to fiber crafts, all sorts of things. I'm playing a character, and that's it. Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Playing a character, reprising a character that you played in a Shadesong game offline,
yeah,
like almost a year ago.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm surprised she's not dead yet, and I'm happy for that fact. But
It was close.
or yeah, we'll see.
Came down to the wire. Thank you so much for stepping in and being there with us. I enjoy playing with you all the time, so it's going to be super cool. We also do have Miko playing with us. He's held up a little bit right now. He'll be in here shortly, but we will begin nonetheless. Right now, I would like to give a few shout-outs while I can. I myself am Bleakseason, the Bleakseason, on Twitter. You can find all sorts of information about Shadesong and all the other games that I run on my website, bleakseason.com. I would also like to give big thanks to my producer, Andy, my long-suffering producer, Andy, who does the best with what I give him, the best that he can with what I give him, which is not a lot, so he puts up a lot of crap, and I super appreciate you, Andy, being there to push some buttons and to get this show on the road for us. The music you'll be hearing tonight is, as always, from the Superlative Tabletop Audio. Excellent source of sounds for your games. They have Patreon that you can adhere to for very, very cheap and get tons of variations on their music. But you can also get a ton of it for free on their website, and you can build a little playlist for yourselves and all that. Super cool. Check them out, Tabletop Audio. We use the Dragonbane system in Shadesong from Free League. Dragonbane is coming out, I believe, in July or August now. So we are using the final PDF early Kickstarter version. The next one to come out will be the final version, and it's been great so far. Loving it. We should see it in action a bit more tonight. So definitely worth checking out when it comes out. And finally, of course, thanks to Gil Sapir, everyone in our channels, all the other producers, Dave, Ashley, Miko, of course, is one of the producers, and everyone who hangs out in the Discord, hangs out with us on Twitter and chat and plays in our games. If you're interested in coming down, trying your hand at it, we always have room for more people, so pop into our Discord, send us a message, and we will sort you out. Final reminder, you can, if you want, impact the game by buying advantages for the players. We each have one to start with, but the audience can, if they wish, spend some bits and get you some advantages as we go along the way. As we saw the other day in Mothership, they can make the difference between life and death. Quick recap then. You lot were brought together by hook and by crook and asked by the king of the Dvergs, the Highland Dvergs, to go and investigate the monoliths which have been misbehaving. So there are several monoliths throughout the Highlands that seem to be tied to the elements somehow, and they've been creating these shatter storms, which are these elemental storms that have been causing havoc everywhere. And these storms seem to be growing both in intensity and in just how big they are. So it's becoming a threat to neighboring nations, so the king has asked a few people to go and check him out. You traveled north to the nearest one, which was the water monolith. You found it after trekking through a land that had basically gone crazy with the earth floating in the air and the water being on fire and all those things, and some strange big wildebeest hog thingies whose feet sparked the ground and so on and so forth. You traveled to the monolith, made your way to it. You were befuddled as the lock that guarded the doorway seemed to be broken, but using your intelligence and your crafting skills, you managed to get it to work and open up the door. You entered into this giant monolith, which is a sort of temple sort of thing. You've noticed that there's this sort of black ichor or whatnot that's floating in the water that's mutated some of the animals in the area. Some of the fish were very dangerous. The water seemed to be poison. You entered this particular monolith, and just before we ended last time, you had found a little nook, one of the little rooms, that had a sort of illusion that was playing behind a glass partition. And I will remind you what that illusion basically was telling you, just in case you've forgotten. That first sort of illusion that was playing showed a woman accepting a crown from, and then they seemed to be sort of strange being, not really human, though humanoid in form. Undyne's first lover, Sangra, gifts her a crown. Water is the blood of the earth. Blood is the water of the body. Sangra was Undine's first lover and marked their union with a crown. And as you were viewing this and trying to open the glass partition to get inside, you activated something that made this wall that was behind. There was kind of a strange wall of water that you couldn't pass through behind you. That wall of water dropped, revealing three creatures behind it, who were blue skin. You had been told about these blue skin creatures that were in the area and held spears, and this is what they looked like. So three of them were there as that water wall sort of came falling down. There's still water sort of dripping from it. So you are in this underground sort of temple area of this monolith. The construction is very alien. The floor is, a few inches of water. The walls are kind of slick constantly with moisture. And there's a deep thrumming and sort of, humming sound that goes, but it seems very restrained, like there's some sort of machinery, maybe something that's at work, but it's not working at full tilt. This curtain of water opens up behind you and shows these creatures who seem quite surprised to see you, about as surprised as you are to see them. So here we are. They seem about as surprised to see you as you are to see them, and they immediately sort of bring their spears down, but don't approach. They're kind of like they're kind of caught between not knowing if they should back up or move forward. They seem really uncertain. They're looking at each other and like they're really, really just unsure about exactly what's going on and who you are, which, of course, they weren't expecting you. So what would you like to do?
Just looking at the map, are they sort of backed into a corner? Is that a no? Is that
right? So here you have, so this wall has fallen now, right? This was the wall of water.
Uh-huh.
And if I hadn't been lazy, I would have made another map without it, but I completely forgot. But it's still there, like it's still dripping, so now you can see through it. So imagine kind of like there's still strands of water kind of dripping. Now you can see through it. Imagine you can pass through. Beyond them, you can see that there was another wall here that looks like it's been destroyed. There's a pillar. Then there's another wall here. It looks like it's been destroyed. And you can see vines or something that have kind of broken through the wall and started kind of rolling into here. It looks like they could pass over it if they wanted to.
Okay, so that was my question. Does it look like they've been imprisoned?
No, it doesn't.
It
doesn't look like they're. It looks like they were probably guards or something, but they were kind of in that area. What do you do?
I think as soon as that happens and the spears go up, Amlos immediately like, whoa, easy, friend. No one here needs to get hurt. Look, and immediately just like, hands up, no, nothing drawn. Easy now. Easy. I think we're as surprised to be here as you are.
They look at each other and they speak in a language you've perhaps not understood before, though you can make a languages roll if you want.
Ooh, yeah, go on then.
Remember, roll low.
Yeah, okay. Not D&D, guys. Yeah. Not D&D. That's 15 over 12.
I got 12 under 14.
All right, so the 15 is getting, but the 12 under 14, you don't understand the language, but you get certain words of it. So some of the words that they speak remind you of some of the ancient languages in Karth. So languages that would be, sort of the equivalent of when you hear Spanish or French and you can kind of hear the Latin influence in it, for example, or something like that. So it kind of sounds like that way. It's not the exact word, but you can kind of hear the influence of the word. So it's probably some sort of very, very old language, but definitely from sort of that.
Using that knowledge in mind, I will try to kind of create a kind of mix universal type greeting that might be similar, where it's kind of like a, a good day, or hello there, fellow people, a very Awi Grana Weep Niniban type, the universal greeting, hello. It's universal, that's why it's hi. And put no weapons in hand, staff in lap, sitting cross-legged on my floating disc, and trying to seem like, hey, this is not where I parked my car. This is just as we are travelers. We are not invaders, or, but yet to try not to seem like we're very out of place. Like, hi, hello.
Yeah.
So do a just give me a roll on your charisma, just to see if, like, you scare the pants off of them.
Both of us, or just him?
He's the one who's kind of trying to do stuff. So,
and we're rolling low underneath charisma. Right?
Yeah.
All right, let's see what I get. I rolled a 9.
Nice. All right. So they can totally kind of get, your friendly disposition, and, you're non-threatening and all that. And you kind of, win them over a little bit as the spear sort of come down a little bit, and they sort of look you over, and then they talk to each other, and one of them points to something back, and then one of them points to you guys, and it's almost like they've forgotten you now, like they're arguing amongst themselves.
Can I use my spell of telepathy to read their surface thoughts?
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, I rolled a 10.
Okay, so you don't, obviously the words don't mean anything to you, but you're picking up thoughts, and you're getting the sense that they're having a discussion about whether you're like someone else that they've seen, and whether they should ask you to help. Like, some of them may seem to like be saying, they can help us. We can ask them, and then one's like, I don't know, like it's.
Gotcha.
One of them's like, there's a lot of people in here that we don't know. There's kind of that kind of back and forth going on.
Got it. Amlad, it seems we're not the only visitors to this monolith. They seem to be concerned that we may be like others who have visited. I wonder how
concerned in a way like we would not want to be like those people.
Unsure. I can't really tell what they think about this other person, but they seem like they don't know if we can help them with this person, or we're like those people, which would be very interesting. I would love to know how they got in.
I would like to do something a bit weird.
You're gonna start singing, aren't you?
I would like to. I'm going to take advantage of the fact that Miko's not here. I would like to ask Dara for to see. Does Dara have gauntlets on? Does he have metal gauntlets on?
He would not, because you've seen him cast spells, so he would not be able to have metal on him. The only metal he's got is his hammer, which appears to be made of some sort of special metal that allows him to still cast spells.
Okay. In which case, I just wanted to...
he might have, like, leather gauntlets, very likely.
In which case, I just want to take a couple of steps... okay, well then,
He's like a blacksmith, so he would have, like, work gloves or leather gloves.
Okay. So, Dara, may I borrow one glove?
Are you fixing to throw it in its face and getting us in a jam here, boy?
Fingers crossed, no.
All right.
And I want to borrow. I'll just put on one glove and take a step forward and hold it up so they can see, and make a sign to suggest to draw attention to one strange hand.
They look over.
Is that registering as any strange, any sort of attention on their part?
Well, they're looking at you. They're wondering what you're doing.
Okay, my Amloth's mind has gone to the woman who we've heard is already wandering around.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Wow. Okay. Wow, that was That was good. Even the GM was like, "The hell are you doing?" Oh, I rolled a 4. One was like, "Ugh." And then he went and taps the others. It's like, and he's speaking very quickly, and he's tapping his hand, and he points at your hand, and then one of them's like, "You're nuts," and then the other one's like, "All right, I think so," and then they're like, kind of motioning you forward and sort of wanting to move back. I want to. They don't seem. I don't want to give the idea that these are like some sort of primitive beings. Like
sure, yeah.
They just don't speak your language, right?
Yeah,
So,
I'm in Tokyo trying to find a public bathroom. Like,
yeah, exactly. So they're like, two of them, one's like, no, and then the other two are like, yeah, come on.
Look back at Idolo and go, what do you say, friend? Adventure time?
All right. I say we proceed. It's back.
How often can you do that mind reading thing of yours?
It takes some willpower, but I can do it multiple times.
All right. Thank you, Dara, and give that back.
All right.
As you
walk through the waterfall,
yeah,
need a bath anyway.
As you move forward, can you give me perception checks? There would be observation, I guess, in or awareness.
Awareness.
Yeah. Awareness.
Aha! There we go. 9 out of 12.
19. I do not make it.
All right, so 9 over 12. So as you, both of you will see, obviously, these strange sort of dark green vines that have apparently broken in through the walls of this monolith and have started crawling in. And you can see, I don't know if you can see on the map, but the water over here is kind of brackish, as it's kind of a little darker, like there's a little bit of like dark sediment or something that's kind of floating through it. It's not that there's like oil or anything like that, but it's like there's like some fine dark grit that's just floating sort of all over in the water. And Amloth, what you get is this grit seems to be coming off of those vines.
Does it have a smell? Is it kind of like a miasma or anything?
No, it doesn't really. If anything, it smells a little bit like rotting vegetation, perhaps.
Are they avoiding it, or are they walking into it?
They're walking through it. They don't seem to be too bothered by it.
Okay.
And so when you arrive sort of around the corner here, they disappeared on here. So
as we are following them, are they looking back to make sure we're following? Like, or are they just carrying on without us? Like, does it seem intentional that they're leading us someplace?
Yeah, right now they're just kind of forging ahead.
Okay.
How deep is
Hey,
the...
Dara.
Hey!
What's up, Miko?
Hello there. Sorry about the delay, everyone. A dragon needed slaying, and only the Avengers could come and take care of that. Or at least that's the story I was telling my toddler to get him down to go to bed.
There you go. Happens in the best families. We'll do an intro. This is Miko. Everyone here knows Miko, but we'll have you do an introduction after the
worry about it later.
Bomber. So you have lost one of your gloves, Miko, as you gave it to Amloth, and he's currently wearing it for some odd reason. But you have met these strange blue-skinned, almost Eldrin-like, but with horns creatures from 2 weeks ago that through some bit of back and forth, you have deciphered that there's maybe someone else like you here, and that's in need of help. And so the group has decided to kind of follow them down into the tunnels to see what's happening. And here you can see, as you come around the corner on the map there, you can see that these strange roots or vines have kind of cracked through the walls of the monolith and are kind of spreading out, and wherever they are, there's this kind of fine sediment or grit, that kind of dark sediment that's floating off of them, and the entire water in this area is kind of covered with it. It's just floating through the water.
Gotcha. Okay. So didn't immediately try to kill us then.
No, they seem kind of surprised and a little bit fearful to see you, to be honest.
Gotcha. Okay.
I give you your glove back. How deep is this? This is wadable though, right?
Yeah, it's just a couple inches.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So you follow?
Yes.
Why not? That's what we're here for. As you follow them, you will come around to this part of town where you'll see another batch of these vines that have grown in, but they're very thick here. But beyond them, in the little nook there, you can see another set of these vines have come out. There's what appears to be like eggs of some sort. They're broken, and there appears to be someone trapped in the vines, like the vines are just kind of constricting around in a corner, and these guys are like pointing, and it's clear they can't get this vine that's blocking the way. It's ginormous, and it's taken up almost the entire passageway. So it's pretty clear that they can't get through there, but they're pointing at the person that's on the other side. Miko, make a language check. Do you have languages as a skill?
No.
Okay. All right, that's cool. It's just because someone, Idolo was able to pick up a few. Yeah, well, Idolo was able to pick out a couple of words from them.
Do I sense any kind of when we get to the vines and it looks like it's holding someone? Are the people like saying things? Can I sense distress? Any kind of
Yeah, they're like, basically you're kind of picking up with the few words that you get. You're picking up like friend, our friend. Yeah,
friend, pointing at the vines, like pointing to them.
Yes.
Friend.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want us to help her out?
They look at you like, what the fuck are you saying?
Free friend.
Idlo.
Free. Yes. Yes, I think their friend is trapped in the vine. So
they have someone trapped in the vine.
Yeah, it looks like it's
Right.
entrapped them somehow. I don't.
I guess I will approach the vine and try to inspect it and see if I can see anything.
It's there. It's growing. It's like nothing you've ever seen before. It's got a weird look to it, like it's not fully it's not just an herb. It almost looks like it's part floral but also part animal maybe, or something. Like it looks fleshy, and you can see it kind of like
undulating.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that sediment's falling off of it and going into the waters.
This one's on you, friend.
I will look at one of the blue-skinned individuals, and I will point at they have spears, right? Like sharp objects.
Yeah.
I will point at one of their spears and then point at the vine and ask Idolo to say, can you ask them if they've tried stopping this fucking thing?
I will take out my staff and I will hold it like they're holding their spears and use basically the basic word for weapon, weapon, and do a striking motion and then pointing at them. It's kind of a...
So they'll shoot the tip of their spears, and the tip of their spears are kind of like a jam of some sort, and they're sharp, they're pointed, but there's no slicing edge to them. It's really just kind of a piercing weapon. And one of them will be like mimic piercing or attacking one of these things, and he's like,
Wait.
Does it look, you said sort of pulsating, does it look like plant life, or does it look like
a mix of both?
Fun.
Like part plant, part
Okay. Amloth will pull out a knife and just go and give it a test sort of jab.
All right. Make an evade check.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, okay. Okay. All right.
Here we
there
go.
We go. If I don't have evade,
So then you'll roll. You roll under your what's your agility?
7. So
So yeah. So you're rolling. Your base chance is 4. So roll under a 4.
roll under a 4. Okay. Just
No
yeah,
problem.
yeah. Amloth just walks up and goes, right, no problem. Then here we go, and rolls a 9, which is one of the best rolls I've made in 3 weeks, but still not enough.
All right. So you take as this thing lashes around your wrist as you go to cut it. What's your armor like? Would you have armor? Are you wearing like any sort of armor, like bracers or anything like that?
Yeah,
Or?
I have. I've actually got Offid's Leaf Guard armor on that you gave me. So rated, I've got armor 3.
Okay. So you don't take any damage as this thing, as you go to cut it, and it just sort of like rolls under and then starts constricting and wrapping around your arm, and it's pulling you in.
Little help.
I will jump into action and try to grab onto him and yank him back.
All right. So make a. What's your strength? So make a strength check, Dara, and we'll assume that he's helping you, so you can get a boon on it.
Cool.
Because he'll be working with you.
Dice roller has all of a sudden failed. I'm going to use this one in Owlbear. So that is a 1 and a 9.
Right, so that's pretty good. That's the one is a dragon, so that's a critical success. So you manage without any problems to pull him out, and you grab the vine, you pull it off, and as you see that it's about to go and wrap around your arm, you pull on it and you rip it out. And this little black sediment just sort of flies everywhere, and the sort of black ichor drips from it, and you kind of back off from it, and it retracts inside. That wounded kind of thing retract inside the rest, and all the other vines kind of roll around to protect it, but it doesn't attack or anything. It just sort of pulls that in and then kind of covers it and then stays there, still sort of pulsating.
And this thing is blocking the passageway entirely.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, Darabach. Ugh. Sort of wipe it off.
You might have
Hello.
wanted to pay attention to the blue-skinned fella that said, "Don't do that."
See, what I thought he was saying was he didn't have the ability with the spear he was carrying to do anything. I now understand that was perhaps not the implication.
Right. Mr. Jambi, do you got any bright ideas on this?
Well,
You're supposed to be the
seems-
smart one here, right?
It seems like it's got some kind of sentience, so allow me to try something. And
Please don't try to fucking seduce it.
I am not the bard of the group. As I
Now,
look
this
over to
hang on
Apollo.
now. Let's not listen. I know we're all having a bit of a day, but let's not be throwing aspersions around, okay?
Indeed. Olo will, not Olo, Idolo will. Sorry.
What are you implying?
Idolo will float a little bit closer to it, and since it seems like it's got some sort of natural, like, sentience of some sort, Idolo's going to raise up his hand and try to see if it's got any kind of mental capabilities, not necessarily like intelligence, but some sort of any kind of instinct of sorts. And as he delves closer into the creature itself, maybe about 5-10 feet away, is going to do a mental strike. And the mental strike projects my mental power as a powerful physical strike and hurls the victim 2d6 meters away from you and inflicts damage. So it's kind of almost like a telekinesis to like open up like open up the vine.
Right.
Mental strike.
Cool. Do you have to make any sort of roll for that?
Let's see. Duration instance. I think the spell can be dodged. Each additional power is d6 to the roll. It's like a ranged attack.
Okay. So, in that case, it can be dodged, but this thing can't really dodge.
Right.
Right. So now you make a casting roll against your mentalism.
Okay. I rolled a 6.
All right. That's pretty good. So how much damage were you doing? Roll that.
The damage is... Let's see. Hurls the victim 2d6 meters, and it does 2d6.
Yeah, it's not gonna really hurl it, but
Right. I'm just trying to
something.
open it up. I'm trying to just...
Yeah.
Let's see. Nine points of damage.
All right. So, give me a roll on your will. You blast it, and it sort of kind of spreads apart, and you hear in your head a scream of pain and anguish. So, give me a roll on your will just to see if it affects you. I mean, your will's pretty high, so it's probably not. But
Rolled a 1.
excellent. So you block it off right away, and in fact, because it's a dragon. Not only do you block it off, you understand that it is not really sentient on the level that you would think it's sentient. It seems to basically have a very narrow focus, which is to just do one thing, to spread out kind of thing. Beyond that, it doesn't have anything. But your blast is powerful enough that you rip a couple of chunks out. They go flying, and all the ones that are broken kind of skitter back, and it moves kind of like a nest of snakes almost, right? And then it kind of pulls back in. And you've done enough damage that you could conceivably crawl over it now. The rest kind of covers the broken ones and then settles in and then keeps kind of pulsating a little bit. Now you can clearly see much better. You can see that there's a person, a humanoid, that's trapped in the other vines that are really kind of constricting around it, and the person's not moving.
Oh my, there's someone caught in there. We should go help them.
Any chance you can do that? Hover and trick on me again. I'd rather not climb on this fucking thing.
Well, yes, I could do that. Just one moment. And just... Oh, I'm going to use a lot of my willpower today. I'm going to cast Levitate.
No problem.
Is there a roll for that?
I don't think you don't have to resist if you don't want to.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm asking you to do it, so I was referring to you if it was just automatic or not. Cool. With that levitate, can I use it to pull myself along the wall and cross past?
You could do that. It doesn't react. It doesn't seem to react. This thing, even when you kind of go over it, it doesn't seem to react.
Okay. When I get over there, I'm going to have Skyforger out, and is all of the vine that's over here in this space interconnected? Or
no, these appear to be a different set. They're coming in from underneath where this person is, and you can see that there's a bunch of blue eggs there that have been smashed by these vines also.
Okay.
As you come closer, you realize that it's a human woman.
Okay. I'm going to look for... You had said this thing was like a nest of snakes almost.
Yeah.
So I imagine there's one sitting kind of out to the side that's not actively wrapped around.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to...
It's like a trunk thing, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to... I was looking for a limb that's just out to the side that I want to just pound with the hammer, kind of like cracking someone's toes with the hammer.
Okay, not a problem. So you hammer this thing down, and your hammer is magical. So once you hammer it down, it doesn't do the same thing that Amlas attack did. When you hammer it down, it squishes it, and it kind of blows out into that dark stuff, and then that one kind of wriggles back under the rest of them, and you see the things tighten around harder around the person that is caught.
Seeing that it seems like physical attacks are just not the way forward. Amloth rummages in his pack and says, "You know what, boys? We might be going about this the wrong way." And he pulls out the little vial of seeds and the water he was given, the Ent tears, and was just and says, "To destroy a plant, we might have to think like a plant." And I want to dip one of the seeds in the Ent tears and I don't know, I have no idea what's going to happen. Just drop it on the floor nearby.
So when you drop it on the floor, when you, I don't know what's that liquid, but you see that in experiments sometimes, you drop a liquid and all the other liquid kind of gets away from it, sort of thing. So it's sort of the same thing where you drop the seed in here, all the black stuff kind of gets away from it as fast as it can, and this thing gets in the water, and then you can see the water start to shimmer. And as it's shimmering, it's slowly spreading, and as it reaches the vines start to crawl back like they've been burnt or something. And from that big, I assume you dropped in front of the big one there first.
Yeah.
They all start to kind of shrivel and kind of pull back as this clean water sort of spreading. And the water spreads, so you dropped one seed, so the water would spread, I would say about we'll say about, I'm just going to use this. So it would spread about that far, one seed. And so as you spread it out, that big one kind of all retracts, and as it does, it goes back down into the hole, and fresh water from outside starts to sort of pour in through the hole.
Yes. How many seeds are in this thing? Do I have loads?
You have a fair amount.
Okay, so I would want to immediately go and chuck a couple more near the person.
Not a problem. So you do that, and the same thing happens over on the other side. I do want to say that as these vines are retreating, they've made holes in the thing, and as they retreat, they make the holes kind of widen, and then the water starts kind of coming in, and some of the rocks start to fall. So it does do damage, and the cracks kind of widen a little bit. So it does do damage to the area around there. Okay, you've been dreaming that you're floating in water, just sort of in this endless water, just kind of floating like this, and you can see there's a bright light over there, but you weren't too in a hurry to go, and you were kind of just floating, and you found yourself thinking back to a lot of things that had happened in your life, and decisions that you'd made, and it was very calming and very quiet. And then suddenly, Dara, you see as that plant, when he plants the second seed, the plant goes, there were a bunch of them that were in her mouth and throat, and they come out. And as soon as that happens, you're brought back to right now. You can feel that you've been choking. Your throat is raw. Your neck hurts. These vines are sort of retreating from you, and you start just coughing water, just spitting out water and coughing water.
I will kneel down, hold Bracer around the shoulders, leaning her just enough to the side to assist her in coughing up the water, and start saying, "Yeah, let it out. It's fucking, oh god, that's gross."
I obviously am spewing out my guts, but I'm obviously I'm trying to grasp for something, even if my eyes are shut from the pain and just the uncomfortableness of all that water, all the weird tendrils all coming out of me. But there's something more important than me at this moment for me. Do you get that?
Oh, we'll say you have the condition exhausted, by the way.
That is fair.
So that means that you have a bane if you try to do strength-related checks.
So as this individual starts like the heaving become less and less violent, I'm going to look over at Idolo and like gesture for him to come over and hold her.
Okay. Idolo will float closer and get behind her head and lower down and kind of try to assist her breathing, get the wet hair out of her face, and just try to reassure her that rest now, everything is going to be okay.
Are you small?
You are amongst friends.
He's not small.
Not small?
I am human size.
Okay. Because you said behind my head, and I was like,
Just behind your head.
okay, perfect. The eggs. Jeez, I couldn't help. The eggs. And yeah, I wanna. I'm pretty much ignoring these people around me, and I want to. I want to inspect, see if the eggs are around me. That's my main kind of focus right now.
The eggs that are in here, you realize, have all been shattered and broken by these vines that have kind of crushed them. And now the vines appear to have retreated around outside of this thing. But the eggs are all kind of smashed and broken.
God. Oh, geez. Okay.
When she does that, you can see that while she probably has like a gauntlet on her right hand, her left hand has this weird gauntlet which seems to be made of metal, but it seems to be fused to her hand. Like it's not like a big ass gauntlet. It's like just like little lattices of metal and whatnot. And there's like a lot of not blinking lights, but like radiating energy that goes through it, and it really feels like it's embedded in part of her hand.
Yes,
Are you all right?
I'll take a second and I'll do like a quick like pat, like, okay, arms, legs. It's just really raw. Thank you. I think that's sucks being conscious. And then I think I'll finally realize that these are not the blue folks that I had most recently been talking to.
The Sklar.
I'll look up into Idolo.
Let's use this this opportunity for everyone to give a little round description, since we didn't do that earlier.
I'll start. So my name is Claudia, and I have a weird arm, which maybe you know a little bit about already. I have long brown hair. It's currently kind of all braided up into like a big kind of bun / part. Like, she doesn't care too much about her hair, but covered, I guess, in a lot of water and goop and I think my clothing is definitely not that of a warrior. Much lighter, much more of a maybe a magic or a intelligence-based person. And I would say that like my clothing is not like super classy or anything, but definitely well enough off. I'm not hurting for cash. I would say is how I look. Maybe a little frazzled, a little worse for wear. Probably huge bags under my eyes, but.
Who would like to go next?
I'll go next. Idolo Jumbi he's about 5'11". He's kind of an olive skin humanoid. He wears very, very brightly colored robes and this kind of like headdress turban with this kind of copperish green stone at the center. He has a large staff that he carries. He normally isn't standing. He's normally like sitting on a small kind of levitating disc, and he's usually cross-legged, and he's either wearing boots or he's barefoot, depending on the situation. The key things about him is that he has very honest blue eyes, and it seems like eyes of a very old soul. And he is always kind of either smiling or serene, and as you know, Claudia would be looking up, it would be kind of very reassuring eyes. He always seems to be amused as he's very happy to be here and so glad to be a part of this dream with you. So it's like, wow, we're both in the same dream. How awesome is that? So regardless of the turmoil or anything, he always seems like he is very aware that he's guest starring in this really great story. It's part of his charm. Yes, brightly colored, blue eyes, staff.
And Dara is a fairly average-sized dwerg, long, light brown hair braided on the back, as well as a bit of braiding in the beard, wearing fairly heavy cloth and leathers that function essentially as armor, but they look a little bit more like what somebody would wear if they were trying to protect themselves from the heat and turmoil of a forge. And he carries a very large book at his hip that is inlaid with intricate workings upon its spine and covers. And most impressively, he is carrying a brilliant-looking hammer made of uru ore that pretty much never leaves his hip or his hand. And currently, he is levitating. While all of that was going on with Adolo assisting Claudia, he's actually moved himself over to the wall, taking advantage of the levitation to try and inspect the wall to see if he needs to worry about it breaking apart from the obvious damage that it had suffered, using some of his engineering skills to investigate that.
And standing behind the other two, watching you rather warily in this moment, is a Wildren who stands at about 5'7", maybe. Slightly sort of nutty brown skin, mess of brown curly hair that is starting to ever so slightly grey at the temples, little bit of a scruffy beard, wrapped in traveling furs, a few sort of rings and bangles on his hands, and wearing over the top of everything a set of leather armor that looks a little ill-fitting. So he looks rather uncomfortable in it. And he's just watching.
So we fix that uncomfortable.
It's now more of just a feeling of like, if you see someone wearing like their dad's clothes, it's like it's not necessarily that it doesn't fit, but it's like just a sense of this is not mine. And he's just watching you rather carefully, having seen your hand and heard you mutter about eggs.
Okay.
And do me, a Myths and Legends roll. Basically, you're going to take a d20 and you're going to try to roll under your intelligence, which is 14, or your skill, which is 14.
Feller, that is not it. That's an 18.
Oh, okay.
I know nothing, I guess.
You've never heard of Idolo Jambi before. You might have, but you haven't.
At least not right now. Okay. Well, thank you very much. She's looking directly into those honest blue eyes. Why are you here?
That is a very great question. We are here, us three, We are here to investigate the monolith due to the shatters, the storms that were coming about. We are tasked to enter this place and solve the mystery of these monoliths. We found a way in, and as we were investigating, we did find this room of water, and our friends here warned us that their friend was trapped in these vines, and we set out to free you.
I didn't realize I was so prolific. Just a little hair flip. Okay. I know a thing or two about the monoliths. So I might be able to help you. I would like to get to know you a little bit first. Maybe you can help me with something. But first,
one of the Sklar, as you're talking, kind of, looking where he steps in and says something in his language. And as he's saying it, you can hear his voice being translated, and it's emanating from where Claudia is. But he said, I'm glad that you're making friends, but they're still going to destroy the rest of the eggs if we don't do something.
We are all hearing that.
Yeah.
Do we hear the translation?
Yeah.
I know. I'm so sorry. We're gonna get right on that. I'm so sorry about these ones.
And as she speaks, you hear the translation into their language.
So we understand what he says, but not what she says.
Well, no, you heard her say it.
Right. Okay.
But then it gets translated after that.
Okay. Well.
Can I try to pinpoint where that extra translation sound is coming from?
Yeah, it seems to be coming from her hand.
Gotcha. Okay.
With the armor?
Yeah.
The weird hand, yeah.
Ooh.
No, that's quite a trick.
That's not a trick. Okay. So I was trying to help the Sklar. They, I don't know if you can tell, they look a little bit like the Diavoke. Maybe that has something to do with this. But they have some people, I think, further down that have been corrupted by the things that you saved me from. Thank you again. And there's only one female left of their species. They need help. I was trying to help them collect some eggs. I obviously did not get very far. There's like some black ichor that go through these vines sometimes. And the there's like, I think there's something wrong with that water. But if you want to know a little bit more about the Sklar as we're going, I can tell you a little bit about it. But obviously, this is a little bit time sensitive. So if you don't mind, let's go down a little bit, get some eggs, and then I can help you with the monoliths. Sound good? Sound good? Sound good?
Do I get anything from the looking at the damage to the walls that would strike Dara as being to be worried about?
No, not right now. You do notice that the vines seem to be just outside waiting to get in, but the water is still clean, still had that has that kind of like little brilliance in it, and the vines are not moving.
Right. And what's your name there, miss?
I'm so sorry. I've not been around a lot of people lately. Been running around a lot. My name's Claudia Sumnus. Nice to meet you.
Right, Claudia. Dara, that one, and he points at Jambi, Ilo, and the man back there with the apparently magical seeds is Amlos. Lead on, I guess. And when we're talking, the hand is it also translating?
You're all speaking the same language, but it's translated in their language, yeah.
Okay. That's a fancy trick there, your hand. And Dara will actually look at the blue-skinned individuals and say, keep a mind on this wall if you can, and if you got anything to block the holes, you might want to do it now. I guess lead on to the eggs there, Claudia.
He'll say the walls will repair themselves in time. It's just when the vines are in there, it can't do it. But in times the water vine will fix the wall.
Fancy. How the hell does that happen? Anyway,
and is that reparation to be desired by your people?
Yes, it would be good that our home not be destroyed.
This is your home.
Yeah,
Your home.
they live here.
Be careful. If you see some of our brethren, many have been corrupted by, and Acer moves his head towards the vines. You'll see striations of a darker color in their skin. They've completely lost their minds, and they will likely attack you on sight.
you have any problem if we defend ourselves against them and put them down?
No, there's only a few of us left. We've been trying to clear them out, but they overpowered most of us, and we haven't been able to get back down to the lower levels in a while now.
Let's see if we can clear you a path then.
Can you all explain the importance of the eggs?
Our children?
Oh, they come from the eggs.
Yes. Yes.
There's one female left. She's been corrupted. Eggs, important.
Ah, yes. I didn't know it was a creature who ate the eggs. But you're from the eggs. Excellent. We will.
Excellent. Oh no! Don't translate that.
It doesn't. No, the universal translator doesn't get humor.
Christian, can you catch me up on what happened to Atla?
Well, nothing has happened to Atla. I really don't want to have to worry too much about it. So you're just going to have to wrap your brains around the fact that he is not here. He didn't come in with you.
Guarding the entrance?
Yeah, he's guarding the entrance.
I will.
Just you know.
Dara would have said to have him, check, waiting outside and keeping an eye on things from the outside anyway.
Sure.
So
it's okay. We'll just drive on.
Good enough. Dara, after those comments from Italo, is starting to wonder why he is apparently the smartest one of this group, and starts making his way back to the passageway that we had passed by, assuming that was the direction that led downward.
Yeah. So you'll go back around. The water here, once you kind of get away from where the vines were, the water appears to be clean again, although the sediments are slowly moving towards it, but they move much more slowly and they kind of peter out after a while. So it really seems to be like an area around where the vines are. So when you step through here, you can see that the water is much more clean. It is very dark here. You're going to need lanterns or something to see here. The creatures you were just dealing with, the Sklar, can see perfectly well in the dark because they've been living here forever, but you guys don't. And so hopefully a couple of you have some lanterns or some torches or something, or a light spell.
I've got a torch. I've got one torch. I'll happily light up.
I also believe, Kay, I don't know if you saw the 2 magic items I put at the bottom of your character's page.
Oh, yeah.
Right, the sword sheds light 20 feet, but it costs 1 willpower.
I absolutely will use that.
Okay. So how are you moving? Are you running, walking carefully, stealthily? Are you...
How are the Sklar moving?
Opening the area? Well, I thought Dara asked the Sklar to stay back, so...
Yeah, Dara does not move with stealth. He will move carefully, but he does not move with stealth.
I think I'd echo that sentiment.
All right. So you will eventually reach this area here, which appears to open up into a couple of options for you. And let me put Claudia on the board here.
Miss Claudia, do you know your way around these tunnels?
A little bit.
She said earlier that she didn't get very far. Did you not catch that, Amlot?
I was very much confused. I was focused on the hand. I'm sorry. I know we shouldn't be staring.
It's fine. It's really cool. It hurt a lot. Oh, it did. But I'm better now. It's been
10 years.
10 years, yeah. 10 years.
10 years.
But
now that's a story that in quieter times I would very much enjoy hearing.
Oh, I'm happy to tell you all about it and all the weird fish I found. But
Flashbacks.
I've been around. I'm a little bit of a historian of sorts. Usually, I'm talking as we're walking through. I'm not trying to be sneaky or anything.
I think as we're walking, I would immediately. I think Amloth, as soon as he heard that these Sklar live here, was aware that complicates the issue of what do we do with the monolith. So I think as we were if we had time to sort of walk and talk, I think I would certainly ask Miss Claudia, if you have an interest in these monoliths, might you also have an interest in the shatter storms that have been plaguing the area?
Oh, yes. I believe I had been investigating the shatter storms at some point. Is that right?
Yeah, so your interest in these things came from sort of the opposite end, where you were studying the monoliths and not the storms, and you heard about the fact that you'd been studying the other one, and then you heard about the fact that one had been destroyed near here, so you went and checked that out, and that Miko destroyed that one in another saga some months back, and so you were investigating that, and then you heard that there were some in the Highlands. In fact, there were a bunch of them, and that they were creating these weird elemental disturbances that were growing word, so you came to check on that at that time. But your original interest was in the monoliths themselves, and once you got here, you realized they were also doing this.
So it was just investigating the monoliths, seeing what the historical significance of them was, and then I kind of realized that there was some connection to the shatter storms. I saw one of them that had been broken down, and I want to see what the connection is. I've dealt in a little bit of maybe ancient civilizations. I've fixed some old magic and technology and things. So I want to see if there's a connection between these things, and maybe not to toot my own horn, maybe I can fix this too. We'll see. But first, the eggs. Eggs are important.
Claudia, do you know where the eggs are?
There were some a little bit a few levels down. I found a few, but there's...
you didn't make it down. You just heard that they were down, but there was one clutch up here also that you went to check out. But you heard that they were below.
Further. So I've not. As I said, I haven't been very far, at all. But I have a little bit of an intuition about these things, so I'm sure we can find them with some ease.
As you arrive, you get to what appears to be an intersection. You can go north or south.
I am going to use this opportunity to use my intuition, or not my intuition, my treasure hunter ability. So can you tell me to learn the direction of the greatest treasure? And to me, the greatest treasure are these eggs.
I don't know that it's going to really care about what you think the greatest.
Maybe.
So,
in what direction is the air marginally less foul?
You use your power, and the first thing that catches your eye is this little pouch at Amloth's belt. And then you get a sense that there's something north, and then something slightly lesser importance a bit beneath your feet.
I'm gonna consider Amlot for a couple seconds, probably a little bit too much eye contact, and then I'll be like, so there's some stuff down, but that way there is, I think there's something that's gonna be cool that way. So let's go that way. We'll see where we get.
Hey, Lo, she just looked at me for a really long time. That was a bit weird, right? I'm not just making that up.
So you eventually arrive here. There's another crossroads. There's another little tunnel that appears to lead to the east. But up ahead of you, you see the body of a Sklar, dead. Its head mostly kind of missing. And you can see in the wall behind it what looks like damage, like some sort of magical blast or something would have damaged the wall. It's still kind of sparking and burning. And there is the body of a Sklar there, lying down with its head mostly blown off.
Have the other Sklar left us to it? Are they not? Are they not coming with? Okay.
Hey, Ripley. Ripley makes an appearance.
She's not even there. She's screaming at someone else's door. I could just hear her.
What do you do?
How recent was this?
It's hard to tell from where you are.
I immediately go up.
When you go up, you see another one of those sort of glass partitions like you saw in that first room. And there's kind of like a pickaxe that's in it. And part of the glass has been shattered. And you can see beyond it a plate like you saw in the other room that showed you the illusion, but it's broken.
Idolo will get closer to the body to investigate.
It looks like certainly several days, maybe about a week old. The skin is already, bloated from the water and started to get disgusting. The bolt or whatever it is in the wall is still kind of fizzing with arcane energy. And it's pretty much kind of in a straight line with the hole that's in that window. And then he's got that sort of weird pole arm thing.
So would one reading of this situation be, just sort of visualizing, would one reading be he hit it with a weapon and it blew his head off? Does that line of actions sort of...
Yeah, you can see that there's some of that, glass or whatever it is that's here that's got shattered when he punched it in, and the rest of the glass is blown out.
Anyone want to volunteer to take that out?
Sorry, what now?
Master Craftsman, I believe you've got some sort of pick waiting for you there. All it will require is a stout tug.
Aye, and it probably should also be left in there for now, until we can figure out more of...
Where's your sense of adventure, Master Dara?
My sense of adventure is what keeps me alive, and in this particular instance, it's keeping me alive, so... Feel free to inspect the glass a bit more, and then when you come up short, you can poke me, and I'll come over and assist. In the meantime,
there's a difference between surviving and living, Master Dara. And I want to look at this. This thing that's still fizzing in the wall. Is there like shrapnel, or is it just sort of magical?
It looks like some sort of bolt of arcane energy of some sort.
Fascinating.
Having said what I just said, I don't want to touch a fucking thing in this room. So.
the adventures for others. I see. I think I'm
Someone-
starting to understand.
Listen, I'm a bard. Someone's got to survive to tell the story afterwards, okay? And none of yous have got any sense of rhyme.
It's a little early to be taking pot shots, but it's okay.
Clack, clang,
So-
clack, clang, clack, clang.
Yeah, exactly.
Claudia, in near the entrance, you would have seen another room like this, so you can see it up on the map there. And when you'd gotten close to it with your glove had activated, and you'd seen that same sort of illusion that I read about earlier. So maybe if you just approach it, your glove might do something with it again.
Absolutely. So yeah, I'll get close to the pane of glass. I'll be like, "Hello, buddy."
So when you do, your glove sort of activates in your mind. You know you could open the glass partition like you did up there, like you could control that. You read that a lot of the energy is wrong, but as you approach, you can see an illusion start to kind of form, and then it fritzes, and then stops, and then it starts to forming, and then it fritzes, and then stops, and then it starts to forming it. Like the machine, the plate there is broken, and the only thing you get out of it are the words "Undyne's betrayer," and then there would be something beyond that, but the thing now is on the fritz and doesn't say anything else.
Do you want me to open this glass wall?
Did we all hear? Sorry, did we all hear that?
No.
Or just.
Oh no, yeah, you would have. Sorry, you would have.
Undying's betrayer?
Undyne betrayer.
So as in the Undyne's first lover we heard about on the last one.
Yeah.
Same name.
Yeah.
You can open that thing.
Yeah. And I will try to open the wall or open the glass.
All right, no problem. So you managed to do that fairly easily. You reach for the wall. There's a panel. If you look, by the way, on the where your character sheet is, there's a tab called Game Info. So I've unblackened some of the info you found so far. You open the panel, and you guys see it's the panel that you threw water at in the first room the first time. And you open the panel, and your glove kind of interacts with it, and the glass partition drops like it's made out of water. It kind of turns to water, and it drops into the ground, and all the pieces that were broken also kind of turn into water and mix with the rest of the water. The pike falls in the water.
Okay. I want to approach the holodisc. Is it like beyond repair? If I spend enough time, could I?
Yeah, no, it's completely destroyed.
Okay.
It appears to you that there was some sort of magic protecting this, and when he pierced it with the thing exploding is what created that bolt that shot him through the head.
Okay. Well, I don't think we're going to get much more out of this thing. Is probably what killed that Sklar, unfortunately.
Are there any eggs in this room?
Was this Sklar corrupted? Or did he look...
He was.
He was corrupted. Okay.
You can see spots on his skin, striations,
right.
Like he's got black and green lines in his blue skin.
Right.
I'll leave the room, and then I'll put the wall back up behind me.
And when you put it back up, the water kind of gathers and comes up, and it's whole again. It's no longer shattered.
That's a convenient fucking trick.
You folks keep saying trick. It's just a cool arm.
No, not the hand. I mean, that's nice too.
Water.
I was referring to the glass being repaired.
Okay.
Can you explain how that happened? Because I guarantee you there's a number of individuals in a lot of places that would love water being able to fix walls like that.
Can I try to hazard a guess onto how the functions of this works, or is that too?
So what you're studies of the monoliths so far have taught you is that the monoliths are intrinsically tied to whatever spirit inhabits it. There's like a spirit in it that's like an engine, and everything basically is shot through or becomes intrinsically kind of filled with whatever magic is there. So in this case, it being the water monolith, everything, your theory is that everything here is made of water, and it's just the power of the spirit or whatever that allows it to take different forms, so that basically the wall, the ceilings, all of that are basically like water elemental particles that are shaped into whatever shape, whoever's in charge wants.
That's real cool. Monoliths, because they keep coming up, obviously, because we're in one. What do you folks want with the monoliths? Like,
Well, I'm trying to figure out a way to make the monoliths stop causing shatter storms.
oh, yeah,
It's wrecking people's lives pretty hard. Needs to be dealt with.
so just the shatter storms?
I mean, I wouldn't say just.
That's peanuts.
They've moved as far south as the Whisper Woods, so the Archdruid sent myself and a companion, sadly no longer with us, to aid Master Dara in his research.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but let's keep going.
At this point, since we've entered a room and didn't find any eggs, Idolo is going to cast divination and look for guidance to guide me to an egg.
Okay.
Let's see here, divination. Specify an item, creature, type of creature or phenomenon. Spell shows you the direction of the nearest, the specified type within the spell's range, which is 100 meters. I can enhance power level to increase the range.
Okay. Let's make your roll. Your mentalism roll.
Okay.
Remember, you all have one advantage also. Just saying.
Oh, then I will use it. This is very important. I got a 12.
Right. So you get the feeling that you have to go down. Like, what you're looking for is a little bit east and down.
East. So I will just start heading east.
Okay. As you head off on east, you will come around here and see that there are two other rooms. One that is behind a glass partition and one that is not, that have these same sort of plates that are active. You can see the energy just sort of rolling around over them.
I would like to head to the one without the glass partition.
As you approach, an illusion springs to life again, and you get... you see again the same figure that was receiving the crown in the first illusion. Here is standing and is receiving a necklace from another creature. And it says, Undyne's second lover, Ionos, gifts her a necklace. Water rises from the earth to sky and falls from the sky to earth. Ionos was Undyne's second lover. Their love was enshrined with a necklace. I will unblacken that. And I'll give you a freebie, Adrian, on that roll you just made with your thing. You get the sense that while what you're seeing here is not necessarily tied to what you were looking for, you get a sense of importance about it, like it's going to be important to
Gotcha.
at some point.
Okay. Water rises from the earth to sky.
Sorry, frantically writing.
Yeah, it's on your
It's on the sheet.
game info tab also.
Does that name mean anything? That's the newest name we've heard, Ionis. Does that mean anything to us?
You can make a myths and legends roll.
Yeah. Dragonbane, not D&D. 9. Yeah. 9 under 12.
So you've heard of similar names before, usually associated with gods that would represent the firmament or sky.
Okay. But nothing that sort of cracks this wide open in any way. Okay.
No.
And one more. And I want to walk up to the glass of the fourth.
All right. And when you do, it explodes and kills you now. That's what a mean gem would do. Undine's third lover, the Lady of Spring, gifts her a bracer. All is born in spring. All is born in water. The Lady of Spring, Queen of April, was Undine's third lover, and she sealed their joining with a bracer.
Are these echoing out so everyone can hear it, or do I have to relay that back to people?
That's fine. They can hear it.
Okay. Miss Claudia, might you have another go at this door for us?
Oh, easy enough. I hope.
No problem. Same thing. You open the panel, put your glove near it. The glove responds. The glass. Nothing changes. Nothing else in here. You kind of get the sense that of this being kind of a viewing room.
Yeah. Right. Only one path left to take, I believe.
Do you take it? That's the question.
Yes.
No, I think I'm good.
Dara does.
So I'll just reveal the rest of it. When you go down, you start seeing the water gets dark again, and you can see some of that sediment. As you come around the corner, you can see another giant vine has kind of busted through the floor and wall again and started creeping out. And here, it's so big that it started to crack the floor in other places too. You can see like over here and here, the floor is beginning to crack as there's probably other vines that are kind of trying to sort of come out through it.
I'd like to move forward and place another seed underneath it.
Okay, no problem. So
Master Amlos, before you do the seed, can you try something for me? Just try a drop of the water first, without the seed attached. I'm wondering if it has more to do with those fancy tears that you described than it does the actual seeds.
Always up for an experiment. Amroth walks over and just sort of dabs. That bottle's rather precious, right? I haven't got a ton of that. So just dabs a drop into the water around.
So when you do, the drop comes in and it does that same effect, but it doesn't last. As soon as you drop it, it does a little bit and then slowly it comes back.
All right.
Good to know.
Good to know. And I toss another seed down.
And as you do, the vine kind of, shrivels up again and goes underneath, and now you can see like cracks starting to form around here. And you, Dara, as someone who's more knowledgeable about stonework and so on and so forth. We know that it's not, again, it's not yet threatening. But you know, if it doesn't truly repair itself in time, it would definitely become a problem. But it's probably fairly safe enough for now.
All right.
And when you come around the corner, you see a stairwell leading down.
We head down.
I think Dara is still standing in front, leading the way down in this space. I'm curious about the light sources that we have. We've got a torch and the fancy hand that's lighting the way.
The sword, her sword glows 20 feet.
Oh, it's a sword. Okay.
It's the sword that glows, yeah.
I forgot. I just assume it's always my hand.
Great. Okay. So Dara is kind of backlit. That's fine.
So you go down the stairs?
Start descending the stairs, yeah.
Yes.
You go down the stairs, and when you do, the smell of rotting vegetation becomes much stronger. The humming and thrumming that you've been hearing gets louder also, and you can almost feel it vibrating in the construction of the building itself. The moisture and the dankness of the place gets even worse. Like, you know, if you got rheumatism, you're screwed. And when you come down, you find yourselves here. And before you move on ahead, I would like everyone to make me an awareness check. Or spot hidden would be fine too. Either you like.
Ready?
Got a 5.
I got a 2 under 17.
Nice.
17. Wow. 11 under 14 for me.
I've got 14 out of 14.
All right, so everyone, then, as you come down, you hear the distinct sound coming from kind of around the corner. So you can't see around the corner unless you tell me that you're going to go check or that you know, and how you do it. But you can hear the unmistakable sounds of creatures moving and talking. There's water dripping that you can hear, but there's clearly creatures in that room just around the corner. So you can tell me how you want to go about peeking around.
I think Dara just walks up to the edge there and like leans his head around, like not necessarily trying to be sneaky per se, but also not trying to expose the entirety of himself, you know, to whatever's beyond.
So when you look around the corner, you see partially a room. You see a number of Sklar that have those black and green striations on their skin moving around. There's a dais made of stone with stairs leading up to it. There are potted plants around. You can get the smell of dead fish like hitting you in the face like a Mack truck. And you can see in the corner a bunch of eggs that have been enveloped in some sort of black-green webbing that's kind of holding them all in the far corner there.
Got it.
And these look like similar to the ones you met upstairs. They've got spears, but this one here at the front looks a little different. It looks like this. It appears to be female, whereas the others are not.
Okay.
Let's hope that that's not the last female.
Right.
All right then. That's
Lash
suitably
fruit.
creepy.
Yeah, deeply unpleasant.
And I will let you ponder what you want to do with this room as we take a short break in order to, just play with your minds a little more. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. We're going to take a short 5-minute break. And when we come back, we'll see what the players decide to do with this room. Thank you so much for hanging out. We'll see you in a couple of minutes. Blast off. Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for coming back. Our players have descended into the lower levels of the monolith that they've been investigating and have found a room that appears to hold some of the corrupted Sklar they've been warned about, as well as the eggs that they were looking for in the back there. I'm going to go ahead and give you the full room, just because I'm a kind and benevolent GM. So you can see what all is in there. There's some sort of ginormous statue, which we'll deal with later in the little alcove there. But then there are 5 corrupted Sklar there, including what appears to be the broodmother.
I thought you said another 5. I was like,
No, I'm not cruel. And the smell of dead fish comes from the fact that they have a whole bunch of fish in baskets back there, and then it seems like they're growing plants to eat. This wall is covered in sort of algae that looks like, they probably pick from and eat. So you kind of have the drop on them, as they don't seem to be aware that you're there.
Okay.
So you can decide what you want to do.
As Dara was looking over, you see that Idilo's also looking over Dara, so you just see a line of heads. Over the corner,
One
Yeah, of your description of the room, Christian, saying that the fish smell like fish is the most abnormal thing that you have described.
Probably.
I am curious I want to try and eavesdrop because they are talking, and I want to see how present and conscious, is it more animalistic kind of grunting, or is it they're making full sentences, the corruption does not?
No. So they're basically they seem to be talking about the fact that there are intruders in the thing. They'll say that one of them sounds like he's reporting maybe from upstairs that it seems the door upstairs was open twice. There's people running around in the upper floors, and the mother's like, we know there are some of the other Sklar there. We should bring them down there and have them join us. So they seem to be talking about that, mounting sort of a raid upstairs to get the people that are there. They don't seem to know that it's, non-Sklar.
How tall is the ceiling?
Not very. It's kind of cramped. Actually, I would say it's probably about a little over 6 feet, maybe 6.5 feet tall, not quite. But the ceilings are pretty low. You're about 5 foot as it works, so is it maybe about a bit less than 1.5 feet over your head.
Okay. And based on my earlier conversation with the Sklar from above and the notion that we have had with, needing to retrieve the eggs and whatnot, I think that Dara is going to summon a pillar underneath of the brood queen lady.
Okay, it's not a bad idea. What else do people want to do?
I've got nothing until we sort of kick off, so I'm just hanging back. I mean, getting close, but hanging back, not doing anything really.
Idolo, sensing that battle may be coming up, will clasp his hands and close his eyes, and when he opens them, his eyes glow for a moment, and then his skin begins to like crack and turn to stone.
And Claudia.
Yeah. While I'm kind of eavesdropping and mulling all this over, and also mulling over like I almost died. I'm gonna pull a thing from one of my. I probably have many pockets. I imagine all my clothing is basically like camo cargo shorts, where there's just pockets everywhere. I don't know why I went with camel first. So I take out this thing. It's smaller than my palm size. It's a pendant. It's like a tarnished silver. It kind of looks between like partway between a flower and a pinwheel. And I just kind of contemplated, and this is something that I received. I was bequeathed in a will after one of my teachers had died. We had a very close relationship, much closer than a relationship I had with my parents, and they died doing this kind of thing, kind of ruin diving, and I'm just kind of realizing now that I'm very much following in their footsteps, and I want to consider that me using my memento. It gives me a little bit more energy. And
was their name Dr. Jones?
Yeah.
So in interacting with your memento, you can cure one of your conditions. So you can remove the exhausted condition, as it gives you kind of a second wind, and you feel ready to. But I'm not going to count that as your action if you want. So if you want to ready or do another action before the initiative, I will allow you to do that too. As you're like.
So are there any tendrils, like any of the meat plants?
No, you don't see any in here, but the water is corrupted in here. You can see the sediment and whatnot in the water here, even though there are no tendrils nearby.
I think I will want. I think I'm just going to pass for now. I'll wait to see how other folks doing are. Like, are we fighting these guys? Are we?
A couple of your friends look like they're about to cast spells.
Ooh. Okay.
All right. So, who goes first? Idolo or Dara?
Not me.
I guess me.
All right, so go for it. So roll on your spell. You're going to summon a pillar that is going to rise up underneath her and hopefully slam her and crush her into the ceiling.
Okay.
She's not going to get to evade or anything since she has no clue it's coming.
All right, so that's 10 under 14? 10 under 14.
All right, that's good. That hits. So give me some damage.
Okay.
I see.
That's 11 points of damage.
11 points
5.
of damage. So describe to us how this thing destroys this broodmother.
Yeah, so Dara just like steps brazenly from around the corner, holds out holds out Skyforger forward and kind of just whispers into it, and as he does, this rumbling just starts emanating from it, like the noise of the mountains themselves falling, like rocks and such falling down a heavy mountain, and then a pillar of stone erupts from underneath of the broodmother's feet, and just surges straight up and just like splats her straight into the ceiling. Her limbs are like hanging out it's a 1 meter wide, and it's technically 3 meters tall. So I imagine it just like hits the ceiling and stops.
Yeah.
But like you can see her limbs kind of flailing out, pancaked out at the edges, kind of twitching a little bit.
Yeah, you squished her good. She had 10 hit points, so you squish her there, and she has no armor. All right,
she's not the only one.
Idolo.
Idolo will when Idolo goes to combat, he gets off his little disc, and he's actually standing up, and he will kind of flank Dara there, and with his stone skin, he pulls out his staff and twirls it a bit, and it looks like for a moment that he actually pulls a stone from his forehead, from the stone skin, and place it on the staff, there's a sling on it, and then he will use a sling throwing a stone, and will attack this one right here, the one on the far right,
Right.
the stairs.
This one here.
Yes, we'll just pull off a stone, put it on the staff.
All right. He won't get to dodge either, since you're it's a surprise round.
Surprise, mother.
So roll your.
Right, rolling dice. Bum 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 bum. 13. Bum 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 bum. Am I for range? That's agility, right?
Yeah.
Which is a 14.
Right. So that hits.
Damage is
Slice of the hair hits him. Give me some damage.
damage is 7.
Right, 7. His armor seems to take a little bit of it as it hits him, and kind of catches a little bit on a sort of leather shoulder pad that he's got, but he kind of recoils as you've certainly done some damage to him. All right. And with that, we will do initiative, which is done with cards in here. Does anyone have a initiative affecting heroic ability, or I don't think so.
Think so. No.
All right, so again, in order that I see you on my screen, so Claudia will go at 4. Amloth at 3. Idolo at 10. Dara at 1. And the Sklar at some point in there. All right, so moving into the room is, you can move into the room and do an action. If you want to move to the dais, the raised sort of dais, it's an extra movement. So if you want to get there this round, you have to spend so you can do a movement and an action, or 2 movements. So you'd have to spend 2 movements to get on the dais, and then you couldn't do anything. Or you can spend your movement to get into the room somewhere and then do an action. So go for it, Dara.
Oh, right.
Here, 1.
Right. For a second there, I thought that the 10 got to go first. You're right, it's in first. So I'm not able to rush into melee with anyone, right?
Yeah, you can. So you have 1 movement, so you can go wherever you want into the room. And then
I will rush in to attack the one that Idolo had blasted with his magic.
Cool.
So that's a swing with Skyforger.
He's going to attempt to parry you.
That's a natural 20.
Right. So,
so weird to mourn that.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
But it's not very good. So as you come rushing in, and you swing at him with your hammer, I will give you an option. Something terrible happens, because that's a demon, a critical failure. So either you feel as you swing and then you completely miss because you just misjudge your roll or whatever, you moved out of the way, and you can feel yourself going off balance. So your choice is to either let go of your weapon so that you can remain standing and in a defensible position, and your hammer will go clink somewhere off onto the dais, or keep a hold of your hammer, but you're going to fall down prone.
Oh, I think it's definitely,
Sorry, you're going to fall down prone and give him an opportunity to attack, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, Dara's not letting go of the hammer, and I think it just makes more sense that he is not used to fighting in weight, whilst wading in water, even if it isn't very deep, and that just throws him off, and he falls down.
So as you fall, he's going to take an attack of opportunity. He's going to hit on you, swinging with his spear, and he's going to do. It's going to be 5 points of damage, minus your armor.
Okay.
So as you trip and fall, he's like, and uses the opportunity to.
Am I able to actually use my shield to help deflect some of that, or no?
Your shield, no, because you've used your action. In order to use your shield to deflect, you have to use the parry action, which you've already used your action to attack.
Got it.
Okay. So
the parry action deflected the blow entirely, though.
No, but that's an action you have to take. You have to spend your action for that round doing that.
Right,
so
but doesn't that deflect it entirely?
No, you have to.
The reason that I'm asking is that the shield's one of the features of the shield says armor +1.
Yeah, so in that case, it's a magical shield that you have, right?
No, it's just a small wooden shield.
Yeah, so it counts as a +1 armor. So that's part of your armor. You deduct one more damage.
So it does count. Okay.
I thought you wanted to actively parry.
No.
Actively parrying, you need to spend your action.
Right.
So, like in his case, since he took his action to try and parry you, now on his turn, he's not going to get to stick you.
Right.
Because he spent his action trying to parry, even though it didn't do anything for him. All right. At 3 would be Amloth.
The Amloth unslings a small buckler and his staff, and in a voice that booms out in this room, you hear a sort of the crackling joy in his voice that sort of lifts the hair on the back of your neck, and he just says, "Right, you beautiful shower, we didn't come all this way just to die in a puddle in the dark. Show them what you're made of." And everyone gets a boon that they can use until my next turn.
Very nice.
I will probably need that.
Do you move? Because you can move. You can move if you want into the room or something.
Sure, I'll just move up to sort of the doorway. People can get past me for free, right? That's not blocking anything.
Cheers, Phoenix. Thank you very much for dropping in, and for the resubscribe. We love you very much, Sensei. I'm sorry, did you move in?
Just to the doorway, and just asking that, like, mechanically, people can move past, right, without
yeah, absolutely.
I don't have
not a problem.
Okay. So, yeah,
all right, Claudia at 4.
She, seeing the brood mother immediately die, she's a little perturbed, and then she sees Dara make a pratfall, and so she's gonna go over and over to him. But, what are you doing? And she's gonna have her short sword out, and she's gonna try to
skewer him.
Yeah, Dara.
All right, go for it.
Is. No, I'm
skewer Dara. Yeah.
No.
Now you're finally revealed as the enemy.
I did it finally.
Do it all along.
So you're gonna roll your d20, and you want to roll under your sword skill.
And you do it at advantage.
In fact, I think you don't have a sword skill. I think I gave you a short sword, and it's your because you took. Oh no, you have sword. Never mind.
I have swords. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what I was talking.
I got a 6 under 10.
Very nice. So you managed to give him a hit. Give me a roll your damage.
All right. So D10 plus a D4 plus 1. So that is 13.
Wow. And with that, as you come up to him, even though his armor takes some of the blow, describe to us how you put an end to this Sklar's days.
Say, oh, I'm sorry. I'll look at Dara like, what? Get up!
All
Meanwhile,
right.
Dara is on the ground, like sputtering in the water, and like, the ichor's in my fucking beard. It's in my beard. Because
So
you said that this whole room is filled with the black,
Yeah.
liquidy bit, right? Yeah.
So this one will come in, and having heard Amloth screaming, will go for him. This one will come down, but has to spend his 2 moves to get into here. So he's going to come down here, and this one's going to come down here. But they have to spend 2 movements to get off that, so they don't get to attack. They just kind of rush in and are ready to move to act next turn. Let me just see what special ability they have. They don't have any special ability because you killed the one with the special ability. All right. And then at 10 would be Idlo. Oh, sorry, actually, the one in front of Amloth gets to act because he just spent 1 movement to get to you. So he's going to attempt to skewer you with a spear, which he will do. He hits you, doing 3 points of damage minus whatever armor you have.
I have 3 armor.
All right, perfect. So the spear just sort of skids off your armor, and you give a little moment of thanks to Offid, who gave you his nice shining leather armor.
Yo.
And Idlo at 10.
Seeing this this encounter just happen to Amlad, he is going to push him out of the way, push him over to the right, and go and attack with his staff.
Okay. He has no actions with which to parry you, so go right ahead.
You have advantage.
You have advantage.
It's that cleric thing. You have bless.
All right, I got a 12.
Right. If that's under your staff skill, it hits.
Yes.
So give me some armor, some damage.
Damage on staff is D8. And take 5 points of damage.
All right. His armor takes a little bit of it, but he takes... She hit him. Back down to Dara at 1.
Am I able to stand up and still take an action?
You can move, so you can take your move action to stand up, and then you can go ahead and take your action.
Okay. So I will stand up then.
You're just completely covered in this black,
still
brackish water.
Bitching in Dverg tongue about the water in my beard, and angrily going to swing Skyforger at this creature in front of
Does
me.
my arm translate the swearing?
Yeah, he's saying things that like you wish you hadn't heard. You'd heard that the Dverg of the Highlands were very jovial and welcoming people, but apparently
Not this one.
something about a cow is just not good.
That's a. I was rolling this just to confirm. I was rolling this with a boon, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I rolled a 1 and a 9.
The 1 is a critical, so you do your full damage and then you roll.
Okay, so it's 2d6 and a d4.
Yeah. I don't know. You tell me.
I mean, it is.
So there you go.
I'm assuming this is not a magical creature.
Nope.
Okay. Okay, so 2d6 plus a d4 is a total of 11.
All right. He is saved in extremis by his armor. 11.
Do I get any
quite banged
benefit
up.
from the crit?
Yeah, I thought you'd counted. You get full damage, so then he's dead. Your full damage is 12?
Plus the d4,
Yeah, so he's dead.
so 16.
No problem. So as this thing comes running towards you, how do you hammer him?
I think like he came running towards Dara right as Darrow was standing up, and Darrow's just like trying to wipe away the beard, and just looks at him angrily and like swaps the hammer into his other hand and just like backhands the thing across the head, and still using his main hand to like to brush the ichor out of the his beard.
No problem.
Not even realizing that he just like twisted the thing's head like 180 degrees around.
And it splashes in the water at your feet. At 3 would be Amloth.
Hearing that translation happen again, Amloth has an idea, and directing his voice towards Claudia, but not his intent, he shouts, "Your people already mourn your souls. If you continue to fight with us, they'll mourn your bodies as well." And the translation ripples out into whatever the Sklar speak, and they now have a Bane for the next turn until my next round.
That's sick as hell. That's sick as hell.
It's very mean of you. At 4, Claudia, the Sklar in front of you seems shaken by what it heard your bracelet translate in front of it.
Shaking it to the point where they're going to stop fighting, or...
No, you don't think so. Like, they look really, really afraid right now, and it's kind of like the fight or flight has kicked in, and they're in the fight.
Okay.
It didn't get kicked in when their leader got like blood
Right.
splattered.
That's when it got kicked in. That's when they saw that. They're like, "Oh my god! Like, you killed our mother. Prepare to..."
Turned into pate.
Right. No, that's when the fight instinct kicked in. But when the bard spoke, that's when their flight instinct kicked in.
They're like, "That voice, make it stop! I can't."
I'm going to try to sword again.
All right. Could have sworn you did that earlier.
I got a nat 1.
Nice.
Nice.
So
Yeah, dragon. Nice. Go for it.
So that is a 15 base damage. D10, D4. So that would be 19 points of damage, I think.
All right. Describe to me how you kill this thing.
Very much the Simpsons episode, knife goes in, guts come out. Knife goes in, guts come out. So
brutal. So brutal.
yeah.
All right. It falls at your feet, quite dead. The other one doesn't realize that's happening, and he's quite unnerved, but he's going to take a swing at Idolo. He's got a Bane. Even with the Bane, he makes it, because I rolled a 9 and 3. So he's going to make it with the Bane, and he's going to give Idolo 8 points of damage. Minus your 8 minus your armor.
That one hurt.
Ouch.
You're starting to think that maybe Amloth messed up and he boosted them instead of...
You're like, you rallied them. What do you...
No, first it was the fight instinct, then it was the flight instinct, now it's the cornered instinct.
Yeah.
Right.
And then it'll be... so he skewers you, he doesn't know anything else. It'll be up to you, Idolo.
All right. Well, after they skewer me, I am going to flip over my staff, and Idolo is going to attack with the staff like it's a freaking golf club and going to swing it at their chin. Wow.
That gives you an idea for a new sport you could invent, Miko.
Yeah.
Let's see. Do I still get advantage?
No, it's gone, I think.
Okay. It's just one round.
Because Amloth is at its turn.
Yep.
11. Still make it.
Noise, give me some damage.
Damage. Six points.
Awesome. How do you finish this thing off?
Yeah.
I literally wanted I want to spin his head around with a stick. So just like, just put this big, knocking sound is just.
You guys are brutal. But this one falls dead. Its neck cricked to the side, and it just floats there in the little bit of water that's on the ground. And there are no more enemies around. You've disposed of them quite handily.
Dara is just purely preoccupied with getting the filth off of him. Like he's pulled out a water skin and is like dousing the beard. He doesn't care about like the rest of him. It's the beard that he has to get clean.
Seeing that Idolo's taken a bit of a hit, I want to dig through my pack and offer him a bandage.
You are muted.
Thank you. I will. Idolo will take the bandage as his skin turns back to flesh looking, and then revealing the wound, and then I'll dress it.
Quite a swing, Master Zombie.
Oh, thank you for the inspiration.
So what do? Claudia?
Right. Is that cool? I think I go for the eggs. I want to look at the cool statue, but I want to do the eggs first, I think.
All right, so when you rush over to the eggs, you can see these are much bigger than the ones you had upstairs. And they're encased in this kind of webbing that's kind of looks like mucus a little bit. In some ways, it's kind of got that black-green, like same from the tendrils, or very similar, and it's kind of wrapping these eggs. And whenever it's wrapping and touching them, you can see that the eggs have started to change color, so that they're also getting those black and green striations that the Sklar had. So I'll show you one of the corrupted Sklars so you can get an idea what I mean with the striations in the skin that showed their corruption.
With my dagger, because I don't want to touch the webbing without figuring that out first, I want to try and cut the webbing away or just pull it away from one of the eggs and see if the striations disappear miraculously. Fingers crossed.
You pull, it's not hard to pull the stuff. The gunk comes off, but the eggs don't change colors. They stay the way they are.
Those little beady thingies that you had, Amlod. What are they? I'm very interested. And two, if it was able to get rid of those vines, you think it could help these eggs?
Worth a try. These are sunvine seeds from Wild Bow. And I'm gonna... do these webs look to be the same sort of corrupted organic material?
It looks like, mucus. So does anyone have beast lore?
Yes.
Give me a beast lore roll.
12 meets a 12. Is
Nice.
It meets it, beats it?
Were you rolling also, Claudia?
Oh, I can. I didn't know if...
Yeah, if you have beast lore.
So that is a 5 under... my intelligence is 17.
All right. So what you sort of probably put together is that this is probably a mix between some of the sediment that's in the water, or maybe even some of the plants themselves, mixed in with some secretion from the brood mother that would create this kind of icky web kind of stuff. And you pull it off fairly easily to the side, not a problem. But when you do, the eggs don't change color.
Worth a try. And I want to plant a seed next to them, or just put a seed.
All right, so you gather them and you probably bring them like in the water somewhere. When you pick them up, they're very very cold to the touch and kind of slimy, and you bring them in the water somewhere and you drop one of your seeds and it clears the water around it, and then it's spreading out, but then it kind of stops spreading and comes back, and then it starts to sort of go over these eggs, and you can see that it's cleansing them as you go along. And the impact on the water is lessened, like the water around, there's less of it that's cleared out, but the eggs appear to be cleansed.
Jochen Varian Schweier Koidwig. Look at that.
Claudia lets out a sigh of relief. She didn't realize she was like holding. Okay. Should we bring these back up right away before... Do you want to keep going? How is everyone feeling?
You're right there, Master Dara.
Yeah, Dara finishes with his beer. It's like, it's gonna fucking smell for ages. Right, the eggs. I don't know. Idolo and Claudia, since you've got the most interest in these eggs, why don't you tip the pair of you take the lot of them back up the stairs to the other folk while Mr. Amloth and I deal with that, and he points over at the wall with the sprouting vine coming out of it.
Happy to.
You do that.
No problem. You can load them into the little disc and
Pile them on and
carry them upstairs. We'll just sort of do this quickly. When you bring them upstairs, the three upstairs are very excited, and you can see that there's more. So there's probably some outside the building that they've gone and gotten that have arrived. And so when you come back, they'll ask you what happened, and you can tell them like we had to kill the Brumaner and all that, and they of course understand, although they seem sad because it was the last of their kind. But they'll take the eggs and they'll say that they're gonna go find a safe place for them, and then we'll try to come back and see you if you need anything or catch you on your way out. And they're very thankful for what you've done, and so they grab their 6 eggs. They grab them and they will move on and get them somewhere safe. Meanwhile, downstairs, so the vines on the wall are not the same vines that were coming in. They're just like seaweed vines that's a source of food for them. They just like wall creepers that they've put up, and that gives them food. They're not the vines that are coming into this building that you saw upstairs.
I don't think Dara cares. I think he goes over and just out of frustration starts beating the shit out of them against the wall with his hammer. Just
Dara's out there fucking kicking the living shit out of the kale.
Fuck kale.
Amloth knows he needs this, so totally, just gives him that space. Does this, turning my attention to this statue, does this look like anyone we recognize from the vision, from the illusions we've been seeing?
No, but there is something written at the bottom, which when I give you the picture, the name is going to appear, and that's what's written there. And then you can't decipher it, but Claudia can when she comes back with her glove. So we'll just assume that that's what happens when she comes back with her glove. But this is the statue that you see. It is currently covered in muck and grime and seaweed and stuff of that nature. It looks quite old, but that is what you see. And it appears to have certain physical characteristics similar to the Eldrin. It's got pointed ears and the same kind of overall physique and whatnot, but it's got like this set of horns that appear to not be natural. Like they look like they're maybe made of metal or something. They kind of curve around, and he's holding like tools, and the statue is very heroic of him, like being like kind of exactly like the face on the thing there. And when Claudia comes back, she can decipher the name that's written at the bottom, and it's Herminas.
You were muted again.
The stone on the head, does would I identify that stone for what that could possibly be, being a mentalist?
Yeah, I would say that it's...
Can I roll a myths and legends or a...
Yeah, go for it.
That would be a 12 under a 14.
Yeah, so it does look like a focusing prism of some sort that a mentalist would use.
Okay.
Does that name mean anything to anyone present?
Dara, slightly out of breath, comes trudging over to the statue. What name?
you can go ahead and make myths and legends rolls if you want. Erminaz.
It's kind of like a builder of sorts. Is that an
I
apron?
had no
and
fucking clue.
and a hammer and a...
Is that a forged hammer at his hip?
Yeah. And it looks like it might have been made of the same material that your hammer is made out of.
Interesting.
I used my advantage, so I got a 16 under 17.
Anybody else?
I didn't even bother rolling. I don't have it as a proficiency, so I'm not going to roll.
I'm lost. Nothing.
I didn't roll.
Huh.
What I would like to do is, in this moment, assuming that Claudia's translated that name for us,
Mm-hmm.
Amloth feels the threads of the narrative converging on this room and wants to take the opportunity to look very hard at Dara, and I want to use intuition to wrap the story around this moment and do my best to work out whether this name and this statue means anything to him.
Okay. So go for it. And I'm assuming that Dara is not trying to hide anything.
Nope.
Or are you? No.
Nope. Not at all.
So make your awareness roll, my friend.
That's a 2.
All right. So yeah, I would say ask.
So this is a
question, and
this is a heroic ability. This is intuition. You activate this ability to ask a question directly to the GM and receive a helpful answer.
okay.
The answer represents your vast general knowledge and should only aid your decision making, not reveal everything there is to know.
So go for it. Ask me a question.
Do I believe Dara is really oblivious in this moment?
Absolutely.
Okay.
He seems to be more interested in the hammer than in anything else that's going on there.
Dara, you see Amloth looking at you for a very long time, and then he reaches a decision and says,
Look, I know it's in my fucking beard still. I can't get it out. Go.
just a little bit, just
No,
Right?
Spencer.
That's too... it just won't...
you make
Gonna
me
take
laugh,
for
Master
fucking
Dara.
ever.
When we get up above ground, I have something to share with you all, but that's for later.
Ominous.
Is the statue looking at anything particular in this room, or is it just grandiose?
It's just grandiose. It looks like it's some sort of shrine.
Gotcha.
So Claudia, you had succeeded on your roll, right?
Yeah, 16 out of 17.
So you do remember the name Erminaz. You remember from that temple that you were in Blight Rock. That story that you'd sort of been exposed to. Are you telling this to these guys just so they know to pay attention or not, or you're gonna keep it to yourself until I remind you what it is?
No, I'll probably be thinking out loud as I'm like going through my mind palace. Be like, okay, Erminaz, Blight Rock, and I'm very much like the everything's coming together. Very much like Amlod.
That's right. So Erminaz, so the people who came here from wherever else they came here a long time ago, the Ved, created two races, the Gurak and the Asir. One of these Ved was someone named Erminaz. He was some sort of priest and a scientist. And what you've been able to find about him, so first of all, he is believed to have sort of had some sort of descent of like conflict with some of the others. And have left at some point. The Asir eventually fought the Gurak, and once the Gurak, and this is something that Idolo would know of also probably, but once the Gurak were defeated, the ones that remained left for the west, and they were led by someone called Ermunaz. And the Aesir stayed behind, but their war had decimated Karth, which is why Karth is a desert now, where it used to be a very lush kind of world. So Ermunaz left towards the west with them, and he was kind of seen as a god for a long time. He is kind of credited with having created the Dvergs, the Ashkari, and the humans. That those races would have descended from the Gurak down the line. Ermunaz is a figure that reappears here and there throughout history, for the most part as the god called the Black Blood that was used to be worshipped by the Ashkari before they became more civilized. And more recently, he was believed to have been involved in the conflict 10 years ago, the Battle of Yggdrasil, where he is supposedly was behind the corruption of the Titans that led them to attack Yggdrasil. And then he disappears for a while, and then people didn't really hear much from him. For a while after that, there were idols that circulated around for a bit. This kind of black stone creature that was kind of hunched over with hooves and big horns that kind of went around, and these were believed to be idols for people who worshipped Ermunaz or the Black Blood. But he was sort of gone for a while. What you have discovered in your research into the monoliths is that he would have had a hand. So back in the day when they arrived on this planet, or this world, wherever they came from, no one really knows, they found it, basically it was a ball of ice, and they used these, and I'll just read you, instead of just kind of half-assing it, I'll just read you what I sent you originally, that I said that to hold on to it for a while.
I can read it.
Yeah, go for it.
It was here. I'm sorry.
I just wanted to give the part about Ermunaz, though not the other bit yet, because you won't have the other bit yet. It'll come in a little later.
Once Ermunaz and his, or is that too far?
Yeah, you can even start at there may have been. Let me just
up here.
Let me just paraphrase the little bits that you would know for now, okay? So that he would have been involved. So you've discovered in some of the texts and things that there were engineers, people that were involved in the creation and the seeing to the maintenance of these monoliths, and that these things were what transformed the world into a habitable place again. And that there was one of these engineers who was called a priest, called Ermunaz, who is the one who came up with how to jury-rig them, because they lost a lot of them. And incoming here, a bunch of them had gone into other worlds, and a bunch of them had been destroyed. And he's the one who kind of figured out how to jury-rig the other ones to still create, a livable world. You have you can read In Order to Overcome, you can read that. That's a bit that you would have gathered, so you can read that bit if you want to them.
Okay. In order to overcome the loss of so many engines, we will have to bring some core modification online in those we do have. While it is of course impossible to transform their traditional, rather narrow operating energy into true pluripotent energy, it may be possible to render them multipotent. Theoretically, we could then compound their powers to various degrees, laying a bit of this with a bit of that, to coax them into creating just about anything. This would require a complex scheme overlay to control the flow and mix of the different energies. But with a little care and ingenuity, we should be able to build a lattice-type system that would remain operational long enough for us to terraform this place into something acceptable. We may, my friends, have found our new home.
And this you got from notes that you translated in the temple in Blackrock.
In Blackrock, yeah. Okay.
Christian, we just got raided from the role players.
The role players. Thank you so much for dropping in. We appreciate you. We are solving some ancient mysteries deep in a temple underwater. And players are just discovering little connections to a bunch of things that go way back and seem to be coming together like the two halves of a Jolie cookie.
Delicious.
Thanks for coming in. We appreciate you.
Master John B., were you aware of any such statue with the broken monolith in Karth?
Does look kind of vaguely familiar now that I look at it again. I don't think it was in the same condition, but it's very possible I've seen a statue like this before.
Does this strike you as anything other than idolatry? Is there any magical power to it itself? Or is it merely a representation of the god?
I think all idols have some sort of power. But whether it's actual magic remains to be seen. As for myself, I myself cannot sense anything.
Any chance we should go up and ask then the blue-skinned folk upstairs and see if they've got any idea what it might be?
I was beginning
Surely
to find
it existed before the corruption did.
I would certainly appreciate standing somewhere where the air is a little less close.
So you would think that if they had any interest in this thing, that they would have maintained it, but the statue is clearly just sort of, covered in grime and seaweed and patches, so it obviously really didn't mean anything to them.
So
It might have a long time ago, but it's certainly the ones that are here now probably wouldn't know anything other than it's like, some guy who looks vaguely like us, basically.
Got it. So
Looking at
it doesn't look like anyone's been worshipping it. Or like you say, paying
Gotcha.
attention to it.
Yeah.
Investigating
sure
the
if
statue with the grime, can I roll a spot hidden if there's anything of note underneath all the grime and the vines and the...
You sure can make a roll. You don't find anything.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure if the grime and stuff had happened after this corruption or not. So yeah,
Your glove, Claudia. Sorry, go ahead.
I guess it just makes sense that. Oh well, I don't fucking care. We've got to find more of whatever this corruption is coming from anyway.
Before we leave, did you say that those potted plants are they visibly food that we would enjoy, or is it sort of algae and...
Yeah, it's more like, it's kale.
It's kale.
Fish food.
No one likes kale.
We'll be fine on the road.
Claudia, your glove will indicate that it's possible to open a door in one of these walls.
Oh. Very fun. Okay. I would like to inspect the walls or try to find this secret passage if I can.
So when you approach the wall over here, you find a similar little sort of, door, and when you approach your glove from it, the wall, same thing, kind of shimmers and turns into water and then splashes down at your feet. And when it does, you can hear the humming sound and the kind of vibration much stronger than before, and that pungent stench of that rotting vegetable matter is much stronger than anywhere else. And when you open that door, you see a giant tank that is embedded in the ground in the ceiling and wrapped around with some of these weird stones that you've been seeing. There's a system of pipes and levers and all sorts of things that are connected to each other. In that tank, you can see that on either side there are vines that have crawled through the floors and the walls and have breached the tank. And in the tank itself, there is some of that blackness that it's kind of floating around in that water. And inside the water, you notice this figure. And here I have a shot from the front for you of what this looks like. There is this strange creature with 4 arms. The bottom part of her body looks like that of a fish with a fishtail. She has a humanoid face with eyes, but no other features. And she's kind of just floating in there, and this darkness is sort of like floating around her. And the machinery appears to kind of be really powered down. And those vines have kind of broken in, and there's stuff sort of floating in and kind of coming off these vines, that sort of sediment that you saw earlier that's spreading through that.
Claudia will start to approach the whatever mechanisms or whatever, and calling over her shoulder. Well, I think we found what's powering this monolith.
Ye gods.
Right. And as Claudia has moved into the room, I think Dara is like moving in as well, but drifting a little bit towards the strange plant things, kind of preparing and watching to see if there's any reaction from them to whatever Claudia is about to do.
And as you walk into the room, any of you can make a spot hidden check, if you will.
I'll give it a shot.
Rolled a 1, got a dragon.
Nice.
Thick.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
7 under 12.
I got 17.
As you walk in to the room, you notice that inside where that cistern is, what you at first took to just be kind of engravings appear to be a sort of language, like a story that has been engraved and written all over these things that surround the cistern. You can do a language roll if you wish.
I would like to read.
What language is it in?
Absolutely. Nope.
6.
As you start reading it, at first you can't make any sense of it. It's kind of just hieroglyphs or symbols. But the more you read it, the more the words are transforming, and you can kind of wrap your head around them, and you start understanding what they say. The gentle waves of Undine move from horizon to horizon, from setting sun to morning light. Undine herself, fluid and graceful as the purest stream, adorns herself with the gifts from her lovers: an azure necklace, a green bracer, a crown of rubies, golden manacles, in the order that she received them. Then she moves from the celestial vault to the loam in a cascade, and emerges cleansed, purified.
I will say all that out. Is this Undine? I'll walk closer to the glass, to the portal itself, though. Can I use telepathy to sense surface thoughts from the other side?
Go for it. I hadn't put these notes in the thing. I will put them now. While he's doing that.
12. Let me look.
I'll put them below what's blacked out there.
Yes, I made it.
All right, so I just put what I just read to you in the notes tab beneath the black top part. You made it. So you reach out, and the first thing that you get is like literally like a wave is washing over you, and you get the sense of a presence, one that is immensely ancient, like, you know, primordial, like part of the first things ever created, sort of anywhere. And you've often gotten a sense like this when you've, you know, toyed with things that were tied to the elements. Like, so this is a very primordial force. You sense that there is an intelligence there, but you sense that it is dormant, in that whatever is seeping into this thing has kind of addled its, you know, ability to be awake, to be sentient, basically. You do sense basically this sort of dormant sentient power that's there that is very, very, very ancient, and, you know, very much in pain.
Pain.
Yeah.
Dormant, ancient, sleep, and in pain.
Moving into the room, are those items visible, or are these colorful circles? Are they items or are they buttons?
So yeah, so first of all, on the other image I showed you, you could see that she was adorned with those different things. She had the ruby crown, all that. On those wheels, there are gemstones of those colors.
Always enjoying a good story. The snippets we heard above are sort of still echoing around in Amloth's mind, and he says, "I think I know the order to turn these. I think we can release Our Lady in there to a more purified state."
Can you make a myth and legend roll, if you will?
Yes, 11.
The story that you heard reminds you of another story that you've heard before, the story of Loravan of the Four Winds. Loravan was of such beauty that she was courted by the Four Winds. The sun, however, became jealous and cursed Loravan that if she could not tell one wind from another at their simple touch, she would be banished into darkness forever. To keep her lovers in order, she relied on smell. The wind of the north brought with it the smell of wood smoke. The wind of the west brought with it the smell of loam and rotting leaves. The wind of the south brought with it the smell of fresh fruits and barley. The wind from the east the smell of burgeoning flowers and fresh rain. Thus she could remember what order they caressed her face in, and instead of ending up in darkness, ended up in eternal light.
The rule of four, friends. It pervades every legend that's ever come before. And unless anyone stops him, Amloth is going to start turning valves.
Before you do that, my friend, I think we'll have to deal with these plants first.
See.
Either with your seeds, or I could try something with one of my rune locks, but that might have violent consequences.
As you take a look at them, you do realize that if the plants are to retract like they've always done at the touch of the seeds, it's going to leave huge holes in the tank.
Perhaps before we drain whatever might be supporting her, we might invite her to pastures cleaner.
Can you get a seed inside her chamber?
Does that sound doable, or is it just going to start? This is just going to start leaking.
Yeah, like this thing is entirely filled with water. It's not like an aquarium where you can open up the top and drop shit in it. It's just all full ball of glass, and there's only that sort of metal ring around
Please
it.
stop trying to feed the god. Tell you what,
If you start,
I'll take out a couple of seeds and hand them to Claudia and Idolo, and just say, why don't you folk go and stand next to icky plant over there, and if anything, if this looks like it's going wrong, drop them.
take the seed. And since I know Amloth is going to be messing with levers, I'm still going to try to focus on if any surface thoughts change while this is happening. While I have my seed.
So, you're going to start playing with levers and...
Yeah. So, Amloth walks over to the red marked wheel and says, Sangro was Undyne's first lover and marked their union with a crown. And turns it.
Are you sure?
The ruby crown one? Yes.
Sure it's the wheel you want to turn?
Yes.
Okay. You turn the wheel. At first, it's like super difficult. You're like, you're going to need some help. This thing is jammed. It hasn't been moved in God knows how long.
Okay, I set a moment up here, and it's become somewhat pathetic. Can someone give me a hand? I was aiming for a rhythm, and I've undermined myself. Anyone?
Don't worry.
Master Dara?
Yeah, I'm coming.
Much appreciated, thank you.
Dara comes over to help him, and like puts away the rune lock that he had retrieved from his pouch that he was contemplating using, and actually no. Before he does, as he's putting it away, he hands the rune lock over to Amloth and says, "Tell me which things to turn and keep this at the ready."
Red one first.
And, cinching the hammer at the waist, kind of pulls up the sleeves and just grabs onto the lever and cranks it.
All right, you start pulling on it, and then you manage to open it. And as you do, you feel a whooshing sound coming from underneath, like you've just opened something that had been closed for a long time. And that's kind of like trying to pull. There's nothing going through, but you can clearly feel that you've opened or changed something.
Right, which one's next?
Yeah, that's a little sort of deflating. The blue one.
Right. Just
Azure
walks
necklace,
over,
second lever. Yeah, the blue one.
doesn't even blink, just grabs onto it and pulls the lever back.
When you pull it, the entire thing starts to shake, and you can feel it trembling through underneath you. Like there's some heavy machinery underneath this that is starting to activate. Like something is slowly starting to turn, and like it's shaking everywhere. And you can see some of the cracks that have been made by these vines and tendrils coming in, like are starting to kind of witness. There's like more water that comes in, and everything is kind of shaking. And you can tell that there's something sort of working at work, and you can feel the trembling coming up, and it sort of fills the tube that you're next to, and everything is just like...
You better be fucking right. Which one's next?
If I'm not, we might not know for very long. So, swings and roundabouts. The green one.
Rushes over to the green one.
The green one? Okay. You turn the green one, and as you do, you can see, again, everything's saying, then you can see the water in the tank start to drain. And it's pulling all the water that's in the tank, and all the blackness is starting to drain out of that thing. Out through that one pipe that's there.
And I assume that means that the last one is this one, and he goes over to the...
Golden manacles, fingers crossed. Been nice knowing you all.
Yes, remember, this was Undyne's betrayer. And you turn that wheel, and as you do, you can feel that rush of water that just sort of comes through the pipes and starts jetting into the cistern where Undyne is. And as this fresh water's pumping in, the bad stuff's going out through the other pipe and is being shot out into the lake outside. And it takes only moments. The lights are going crazy. There's smoke coming out of the machinery next to you there. There's a couple of dials that are like, and then they explode, and then something, like there's a fire that catches somewhere, and as everything is kind of shaken, and eventually all that fresh water is coming in and all that bad one's coming out. And as it's going like this, what do you do? Like, it's gone through what looks like a full cycle. Do you stop it, or?
I think Amloth will just watch unless anyone pulls him away.
I wouldn't know how to stop it at this point.
And Idolo, you're kind of connected still psychically, right? And you can feel the presence there that's kind of awakening, but it's very sluggish. And as you're kind of concentrating on and seeing, you can still see that even though the fresh water is sort of coming in and going out, the bad water is going out, those tendrils keep just dropping some of that sediment and that stuff in there. So even though most of it's kind of flushing out, there's still always a little bit that's kind of floating around in there.
Gotcha.
Right now, everything is really loud. You got to kind of talk like this because the thing is shaking and it's just like...
Drop them if you've got them, boys and girls.
That's what I was thinking. Yep. It's time to throw those seeds in.
You throw the seeds, you dip them in the ant tears, and you throw seeds on either side. And as you've done before, once those seeds hit the waters start to clear, and the tendrils and the vines immediately, like, you know, snakes that have been hit with fire, just start to like crawl back and kind of fall over themselves, pulling back. They pull out through the holes that they've made and kind of retreat into the water. The blackness sort of follows them. All the sediment and all the sort of brackish water sort of follows them. But as they pull out, water starts to jut out of this cistern. There's huge gouts of water that are coming out. It's all filling out almost as quickly as it's coming in.
So, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
This is not a normal use of my rune lock, but I have still one rune lock remaining. Rune lock with the element of air. And I'm curious if it would be possible for me to activate the rune lock and control it enough to form an almost like air bubble around the this tank, at least to temporarily hold that water.
Yeah, so that's a great idea. So describe that for us. How do you do that?
So as the machine is like going crazy and everything, and as Amloth is, staring at the ramifications, and Jambi and Idolo and Claudia have dropped in and caused the receding. The engineering aspect of Dara's mind just takes over. He knew that was going to happen as soon as those seeds went in, and while Amloth is still actually holding the rune lock in his hand, Dara just comes up, cups his hand underneath of Amloth's, and brings Skyforger down on top of the rune lock, just shattering it with the force that he brings down upon it, and the coalescing energy that was stored inside of the rune lock. He does his best to shape with Skyforger grimacing, almost screaming in a way, as this howl of air erupts. This chaos storm that had been contained within it kind of erupts, and he wills it to form this almost hurricane-like airflow around the tank itself. As that happens, he reaches over, waits a few seconds for some of the water flow to still get the last remaining bits of sediment, and then cranks that last lever that he pulled back into position to stop the machine.
As you do that, you shed your wall of air, sort of closes it around it, and seals off the holes. You shut the machine. The machinery stops shaking. The fire kind of slowly peters out. The water stops rushing in and out. Your thing seems to hold. It's not going to hold forever. You've bought yourself minutes, basically, at this point, but right now it's holding. Inside the tank, Undine is starting to move. Her tail starts to move like this and is sort of flipping. And her head comes back forward, and she looks over, and she looks straight at you, Idolo. And you get a sense, there's no words or anything, but you get a sense of the notion of tools of repairing, and you get a sense of behind the wall over there that there might be something that will help you in this particular situation.
Okay. I will go towards the wall. I will look towards Claudia, and I will motion to help and point towards the wall.
I trust him because of his beautiful eyes.
You go near it with your glove, and as the glove activates, the wall again turns into water and sort of splashes down. And you see, hidden behind it, what looks kind of like some sort of a workshop. And there's like a workbench with a bunch of different tools and things. And there are these big sort of containers of what look like some sort of fairly liquefied bluish gel that are just sort of bubbling in these little cauldrony things there, and there's like tubes and whatnot that sort of look like you could draw from it or something like that.
Okay.
Anyone have crafting? You want to take a look at
I
it?
don't have that one.
I mean, I
I do
assume
not
I'm
have-
currently controlling the air with the rune lock.
Yeah, you could
But
probably spare like, you know.
if somebody gets Dara's attention, he will head into the workshop and see what he can figure out. So just a regular crafting roll?
Yeah.
Ooh, that is a 15 out of 15.
All right, so that's good. So as you study it and look at the different types of tools, you get the feeling that this goo is probably some sort of paste that you can draw out, and then you could paint it, and that it probably solidifies in some way and sort of repairs whatever, because it's not glass. It looks like glass the thing is made of, but it's not glass. And it does have a very arcane sort of elementalish quality to it. But you know enough out of the different tools that you see there and the different pumps and everything to kind of understand that you could conceivably use it to repair the cracks in the cistern.
Okay. Yeah, Dara will just immediately start, like, he will drag Idolo and Claudia into assistant roles, you know, like the various forging apprentices that he has taught over his many years, and just immediately start commanding them, giving them orders about what to take and what to bring, and, you know, how much to apply and that sort of thing.
So
As he grabs up most of the toolery himself, and sets to work.
And so you will go ahead with this, and as you find that as soon as you apply this paste, it seals off, and you can't see the difference. It really kind of, it's almost like it melts and becomes glass again, but it's not glass, and it totally seals it off. And as you're working on that, you can see that more and more life is coming back into Undyne, and you can tell from your psychic link with her that she's sort of coming to slowly but gradually, is kind of becoming aware. You can feel gratitude sort of wafting from her. At some point, Claudia, when you're going back into that sort of workshop to pick up, you know, some more goop or something, as you walk in, your glove does a little and you can see it kind of activate. And you get a sense that it's kind of communicating with something.
I will follow it like a radar, I guess.
So you'll go around the corner and you'll see that there's a vine that's kind of broken in through here. But as you come around there and kind of just avoid the vine and kind of step around it, the other guys are in the room sort of finishing off, you know, plugging the holes in the thing. You come in front of this thing here, and when you look at it, it looks like a display screen. You've seen something similar before in the temple in Blightrock. What you see here when you approach it is a screen that appears like this. And you can see that this icon up here is starting to glow slowly, but all the other ones are very much dull and not moving. And as you look at it in your gloves there and it communicates with it, it starts, the words start to get translated on the board. And since you have the glove, I'll just go right ahead and show you the other one. And once they're translated, this is what you see. At the top it says engine of creation system, status system malfunctioning, warning, core and atmospheric temperatures dropping, recommendation, restart deep forges. And then you have this one says Braun, this one says Van, this one says Luft, Jord, Liv, Tomrom. This one says critical error and it appears to have been destroyed. This one here says Liv and says internal malfunction, core component absent. And here you have interruption of the flow.
If I take out a map and I know where the monoliths I've been to have been, can this line up at all?
Yeah.
Or
so these here, this one, this one, this one, this one line up with the ones in the highlands. This one lines up with the one that you saw in the mountains that had been destroyed. And this one lines up with the one in Karth.
the one in Karth was also destroyed?
No, but there was no power to it.
Dormant, right? No.
Yeah. And just because your glove would tell you, Braun, translates into fire or flame, Van into water liquid, Luft into air wind, Jord into earth or soil, Tomrom into void or death, and Liv into life and light.
I guess Claudia, after reading this, will calmly walk back into the room, be like, "Hey, are you folks done? I found something fun. It's basically a checklist."
I'm assuming at this point that Dara is still deep into repairs and checking things out. So he just kind of looks over his shoulder like, "What the fuck? Not now. I can't ask too many things at once. Jeez.
I can't give it anymore."
And I have a mental link with like a god right now, so I'm like, what? We're freaking busy.
I guess it can wait.
And it will wait. It will wait until next week, in fact. It will wait until next week when we return and find out exactly what all this is what you broke me, Kosi, right here, Tomrom.
Oh, yeah. No, I know. I don't know why you say I did it. It wasn't me that did it.
You were driving the car
that did it.
You were driving the car that crashed into it and killed it. All right. Thank you so much, guys.
I firmly remember the conversation and the description of it being that this presence embodied all that is death. So,
you did what you had to do. You did what you had to do.
Did anything wrong?
Perfect. Yeah, so thank you. So we'll pick this up next week in our next session and find out exactly what all this is about. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Everyone who came in and our raiders, I'll give my players a chance to tell us a little bit about themselves. Again, here, as we did at the beginning, we'll start with Olo.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. My name's Olo Clark. I'm a TTRPG person and creative director over at Escape Plan Games. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at JackBNimble42, and you can find Escape Plan at ePlan Games or www.eplangames.com. Miko, I got it right this time, both times. Thank you so much for watching. Can I just quickly shout out the map building and imagery work on this one? This has been incredible. This is so cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What I do at night, I don't sleep. I just make maps. Thanks. I really appreciate that. Thanks for coming and playing. It was a lot of fun. I look forward to doing it again next week. Miko, next. What's up? Hi.
I am Miko, otherwise known as the OKSGM. You can check out my socials. Links are in the chat. The_OKSGM in most of the places. And yeah, when you don't see me in one of Christian's games getting a chance to play, you can find me producing things, running things, creating things online. Yeah, check me out if you're ever interested in those types of things, because I am always happy to discuss them.
Thank you so much. We didn't get to get an introduction earlier from you, but people know who you are. You've been around these parts, an old hand, like some of us. Thank you for being here, Miko. Adrian.
Hi. Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for watching. My name is Adrian. I go by Sly Sparrow on Twitter and Twitch and Discord. I am an actor, producer, and game player. Please feel free to reach out and we can discuss all kinds of fandoms and all kinds of game-related activities. Had a really great time tonight. I hope everyone in the chat had a great time. I love playing with everyone, and Bleak, fantastic job, man. I really like these kind of cerebral, like puzzle games that are not just hack and slash and not just, not everything could be a heist. And so you did a fantastic job really capturing my focus. And so had a great time. Thanks.
So much. I super appreciate it. Always a lot of fun to play with you, Adrian. Thanks for being here. And Ripley making an appearance just in the nick of time. Ripley, tell us a little bit about yourself. That cat is literally the size of like that. That's just.
Say hello. She's not happy. I guess hello. I'm Kay. You can find me at Kate and Cosmos on most things. This is my cat Ripley. Can't see her. Here's her tail. She does exist. I do a lot of sort of must you wreck everything. I do a lot of art stuff. Anything from RPGs, digital art, fiber crafts, whatever. Today I played Claudia Sumnus, bit of an academic, a bit of a archaeologist, historian, really interested in the history of this world, and she likes to learn. She has fun. Even though she almost died at the very beginning of the game. But
you almost died before you even got to play.
Oh well. I'm like happy Scoos couldn't play so that I could, but I feel bad for them.
It's all right. We'll have other opportunities with the Scoos later. The Scoos is down but not out. Thank you so much for stepping in and finishing the story with us. It's a lot of fun, especially since it works out well because you played this character before. So it just sort of, it all came together. It all came together in the end. I myself am the Bleakseason. You can find me at the Bleakseason on Twitter. Find me here running games. What do we got this week? We have tomorrow. We have Heroes of Greyhawk, DM Dave's Heroes of Greyhawk, which I play, classic D&D action. And then that's Tuesday.
That's Tuesday. That's not tomorrow.
I'm completely tomorrow. All right, let's rewind. On Monday,
are we doing a catch-up episode?
We're not doing anything. So on Monday, we have the final of Dungeon Mr. Ty's New Varden game, playing on our Monday Night Mayhem on Monday as a homebrew game. And on Tuesday next week, we'll have a Greyhawk with DM Dave, who's off at GaryCon having the time of his life right now. Big shout out to my producer, Andy. Thank you so much, Andy. And huge shout out to everyone, the raids that came in, everyone who hung out with us, stayed in chat. We love all of you. Thank you so much. We hope you have a great evening. We're going to raid a good friend of ours, Chaotic and Writer, right now. So please hang around, give him some love when we pop in. And we'll see you hopefully next week. Ciao.